What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kind of Funny's Spider-Man in Review. That's right. Every week, we are ranking and reviewing every single one of the Spider-Man movies besides Spider-Man Homecoming.
Because that's an MCU one.
Because that's an MCU
This
movie.
is the non-MCU. Yeah, go see that one. Go back. There's archives.
Go back.
Right, Andy?
Gotta go back.
Agree with him.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Thank
Greg.
I thought Andy did a great job. Don't listen to Kevin.
Last couple weeks, we have been reviewing the Sam Raimi trilogy. We're now transferring over to
Dirty.
the amazing Spider-Man duology.
The Mark Webb.
Duology.
The Mark Webb.
Nice.
I dropped that
Duology.
shit.
The Mark Webb.
Dropped that
Oh,
shit.
yeah, that's cute.
How much did Mark Webb want to work on this?
She's like, this
It
is
was
destiny.
Kismet, man.
Yeah.
When I
Have to
found out
make
the
it
director's
happen.
last name was Webb, I was like,
Yeah.
this is going to be the best Spider-Man movie
That's
ever
what sold you.
made.
That's what sold you. That's what it was. You can
Produced
get
by
the show.
Swinger Spider.
You can get the show every Thursday at 9 a.m. on youtube.com/kindoffunny or on podcast services all over the place, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all of those things, wherever you want to swing by. I'm Tim Gettys. That's Nick Scarpino.
Hi.
To my immediate left.
There it is.
We got Greg Miller.
Your
We got
immediate
Kevin
right.
Coelho.
He's to immediate
We
left.
got Andy Cortez.
Hey, guys.
You know, we're going to pull. Here's what we're going to do for the immediate left term from now on. That's going to be like literally, where you just use it whenever you want.
I think it's clear he's just making fun of Nick, Kevin.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
I know,
Although-
it's just, but he's not making fun in the right way. He could have
It
just
just
said
doesn't
immediate right.
matter.
It's the same
No,
thing Nick
because
did.
then
No,
That's
he's
the
making
right-
fun of himself. You weren't here for that podcast. We did a GOG.
I just
wouldn't
like
know.
everybody.
What?
You
Oh,
wouldn't know anything, Kevin.
okay.
Today
whatever.
we're reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man, released on July 3rd, 2012. Directed by Mark Webb,
Yep.
which, God, that's fucking weird.
Fantastic.
An American music video, short film, and film director, he made his feature film directorial debut with the 2009 romantic comedy drama 500 Days of Summer.
Hey,
Sean
all right.
It's like
all
Sean
right.
Finnegan's
Maybe I like
favorite
that
film.
movie.
Favorite film of
It's a
all
fun
time.
flick.
Yeah.
It is.
The movie broke
From
my
what I
heart,
remember.
dude.
It's devastating. Yeah.
It's really good.
They don't end up
Devastating.
together, right? That's it?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
He meets
but then he
Autumn
meets
at
a
the
girl
end.
named Autumn.
That's cute.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
That's cute. Then.
He
Okay.
falls for her. And went on to direct the 2012 Spider-Man reboot, The Amazing Spider-Man, its 2014 sequel, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and the 2017 drama films Gifted and The Only Boy Living in New York. Have you seen either of those?
I have not, no.
Me neither. I don't know.
No.
Budget of $230 million. Box office of $757.9 million. Once again, proving people like Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Runtime of 2 hours and 16 minutes.
It's so long.
Gentlemen, what do you think?
Man, I'll tell you what. This is a movie I don't think about ever. Right? I don't think about this or number 2. I've seen them both, and getting ready to watch it and settle in. It was this thing of I've watched this before. I don't remember much about it. That's a weird thing. I don't know what's going on in my life. Let's see what it's all about. And what a forgetful film.
Yeah.
I'm gonna struggle writing in the recap today. I'm just like, ugh,
In 5 years, you're going to come back to this again.
No, I
At some
won't.
point, it's going to be on TV. It's just going to pop up, and you're going to start watching, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah. And you're going to have that same feeling. Of just
Yeah.
I
like,
told you when we were getting ready to leave for the weekend and go watch it. I was like, funny fact, I can't remember what the lizard looks like. I don't remember
He
anything
looks like
about
a Koopa
him.
from the Mario movie.
Now I remember he looks like a Koopa, but it's just like, what a movie that happened. This
It
movie
just happened,
happened.
man.
It's very weird because it does have all the elements of a good movie, right? I like Andrew Garfield's take on Spider-Man. I like that it's a darker tone. I actually kind of even like that they're like, let's have some fun with Peter Parker's parents being these weird scientists like disappearing and how we're going to do that. Like, I know they wanted to play that mystery out over the next 3 films. You could totally tell. And I think they actually had
next one
elements
dives
of that
deep
in Amazing
into it,
Spider-Man 2. Then, you get hit with frickin' Martin Sheen and Sally Field as Aunt May and Uncle Ben. And I'm like, oh my God. These
yeah.
Believable.
And they're
these are great.
lovable.
And they bring a lot more life to those characters than I think the actors prior, where like Martin Sheen just totally has a
Cool, grandfatherly, unclely love.
well, he has a more well-rounded character.
He's got that
whereas
old
Uncle
man
Ben in the
comedy,
first one-
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. But then you get to the end of it and you're like, that was just a little empty.
I feel like it had all
Emma
the
Stone
right
too.
elements, and I feel like
Yeah.
it
Emma
did
Stone was
so
great.
much
Love Emma
so
Stone.
well, and then it just doesn't add up. Like, it just doesn't. At the end of the day, it's not a great Spider-Man movie.
You don't
Yeah,
feel
it's
great
weird.
after watching
Yeah.
it.
but the Tobey Maguire Kirsten Dunst chemistry to me was like you going back and watching that again. I'm like, they just didn't have very good chemistry. It was pretty non-existent.
True.
This one, Emma Stone, Andrew Garfield. It was so lovely watching those two.
I
on
would
screen
watch
together.
them
They were dating
do
at the time.
Literally
They were
anything.
dating.
That's
I think
my
they were dating
yeah.
after.
They
I was gonna
started
say
dating
they fall in love in this.
afterwards.
We watched them fall in love, guys.
There was probably 1 or 2 smooches in the costume department, if you know what I'm talking about. Are you gonna get changed? I'm gonna get changed.
One of the things that I really saw rewatching this is the 500 Days of Summer vibes, and that's where this movie works best, is when it feels like that movie. And that's why I
Right.
think that whenever they're on camera together, it's like This is just
when
fantastic.
when
The chemistry is palpable.
when Peter finally asks her out or whatever, and they both are like doing the sheepish like look at their feet, walk away, stick around each other thing. It's great.
No, the other great line was when. What I like about this is it does a lot of things that the first movie doesn't do. Right, it doesn't rely on no one knowing who he is, which is great. He immediately tells her. Because of course you would. You're a high school kid. You're excited about this thing. You know you're excited about this girl. Like, why not tell her that you're Spider? And then he jumps off the thing, and it kind of like the camera.
That's so good.
I am in trouble.
That scene is so fantastic.
Yeah.
Now that being said, I remember this movie fairly fondly. I remember being like, when it came out, I remember being like, oh, this is what Spider-Man should be. He's making jokes and comments.
Yeah.
And then rewatching it.
He didn't really make any.
Yeah, he did.
No,
There's
he
that.
does.
There's
He
that.
talks shit a
There's
lot.
still that great scene of like he's talking shit to the car thief, and then the car thief pulls out the knife. He's like, "Oh my god, is that a knife?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh no, my weakness, tiny knives." I'm like, "That's awesome."
Yeah, that was a great moment. But I just think overall, it was like, this movie's so like.
serious. Its biggest problem is that it's so
It's very
dark
serious.
and serious.
And even like when he's talking, like that's a perfect example, right? He's kind of being mean to the guy there.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a meanness and a bite to everything that Andrew Garfield Spider-Man does.
Well,
in
that's-
this. That doesn't
bite.
necessarily like it doesn't have the lightheartedness that Tom like it doesn't have the aw shucks like innocence.
well, I
Right.
feel
He is
there's a
much
reason for that,
Yeah.
though, and that is that moment is his
I might kill
wrestler
this
moment.
guy. Yeah.
yeah, you know.
Well, I mean, I feel like him in this movie, his origin is about getting revenge. Like, there's that scene where Gwen Stacy's dad's all like, "Oh yeah, he's going after just these particular people. This is a kid out to get revenge," and it's so weird to have Spider-Man start that way, like not going out there to help people, but to like hunt this guy down.
I think this movie really, it's obvious that it was a reboot and it was so close, probably the closest reboot we've ever seen in film history, right?
Yeah, time-wise?
to a
How
franchise
about you? Do you know the years off the top of your head?
from 2007 to 2012. So
Yeah,
5
like,
years.
that's insane, especially for something that iconic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they knew they're like, we got to do a bunch of things differently. And I think some of them really paid off, and I think some didn't. But I did like that he took his mask off a lot. I remember when I first saw it, that was probably one of my biggest criticisms. I was just like, that's not Spider-Man. You got to protect your identity. But it's like, it made sense.
He takes it off in cool moments when he should to get that kid, you know what I mean, to be brave again or whatever. Which of course,
Yeah, it was a good
thank
scene.
God that's the crane operator.
Oh, yeah, man.
We'll get to that.
Thomas
let's
Howell.
not-
Get to that.
we're gonna-
We'll
God
get to
bless.
that.
Shout out to
We
the
will get to
cameo.
that.
The great work of C. Thomas Howell.
But in that scene, Andrew Garfield's so likable. Like
Yeah.
he's just so
Oh,
relatable,
yeah.
and you want to know him and you root for him. Like
Yeah.
that's one thing I felt here that I did not feel really at all for Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Sure.
I loved his take on Peter, and I know a lot of people like, he's not, even when he's a nerd, he's still a cool guy on a skateboard.
He's really cool.
I feel he's like a modern day nerd. Like, I feel
He's
like
an
it's-
outcast.
Yeah,
He still has
it's-
a bit of a like he's a rebel, but you can tell he's not terribly well liked. But there's not people that are sitting there. He doesn't really fit in.
I love
and
it.
that's
though.
his version.
I
Really?
feel like it's such a great take.
I also think, and it's like not done much with it, but I really enjoy the turnaround on Flash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever I watch or a cartoon or read the comics, right? Like it always seems weird that they end up hanging out with Flash, and for him to be the bully and the dick or whatever. But then the death of Uncle Ben for him to come over and then get thrown up. And even then, even when he's about to get like fucked up, where he should be the most Flash, be like, "I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry." And then, you know, at the end when they are like bros, it's like, all right, that's kind of cool.
I think at the end they were a little bit
Too broy, but I assume we've missed
hugging
something.
him,
We
it's
see,
under-
I assume we've missed a little bit. There's been a time jump.
But I think that was what this movie succeeded in doing, right? Is that it made these characters a lot more well-rounded and a lot more believable and a lot more human. Even the Captain Stacy character, which prior to this was just like the one note, like, I'm gonna give you this paperwork, and I'm the carbon like cookie cutter version of what this character is supposed to be. We get Dennis Leary. Who is
Fucking loved
did a
him
great
so
job,
much.
and
He's
you end
so
up really
good.
liking this character because you get these great scenes with him, like the dinner scene where they're sitting there literally arguing both sides of like why Spider-Man's bad, and even Andrew Garfield's like he's not 100% convinced that he's doing the right thing, and then he gets frustrated with it because he hasn't quite figured it out himself.
I love that he kind of serves as J. Jonah Jameson in this
Yeah.
movie, where it's like he is that kind of person that's going after.
Yeah.
But
Spider-Man's bad.
there's also the great scene where well, it's not a great scene, but the scene where he walks in, he goes, "Hey, Doc Connors is doing something crazy." Like everything in this movie happens the way it probably should. I'm not gonna go after this guy myself. I'm going right to the cops. Hey, Doc Connors crazy. He's the foremost lead in this thing, and he's doing this thing, and he's gonna have an aerosol thing. And Dennis Leary's like, "Go back to La La Land," and then right when he leaves, he's like, "We should probably check into Doc Connors. Like, what if the kid's not crazy?"
I hate them
like
escorting
that
out
about
though.
him. What's that?
I hated them escorting him out. It's like, come on, it's your fucking girl.
Well, he doesn't
boyfriend.
like him either because the
Yeah.
kid keeps creeping
Yeah,
in the
sure,
window.
but it's
Man.
and he's trying to
in our
a
bedroom.
metaphor for creeping into his daughter's, you know.
Window.
window, womanhood window.
What? Oh man, I hate that. I don't
I
think it's a
asked
metaphor.
that
I do
elaborated.
think they
Asshole.
I thought they nailed the movement really well. There are certain scenes where he is flipping around, and some of it looks kind of bad because you could tell it's like a CG character that's kind of doing this shit or whatever. But the final scene where he is sort of going through all to showcase, the typical, hey, it's the end of Spider-Man. Let's show him about
Being
to fly
fucking
away.
I
awesome.
love how this movie's
Cut the
like
credits.
funeral, check. Scene of him flying through the
Nailed
check.
it.
Giant American flag.
American flag, check.
Tell the guy that killed Uncle Ben beforehand, it's not my policy or whatever.
yeah.
That's
I
good.
forgot what was my problem. Or did they like nail that or whatever? But yeah, the movement of him in the what do they call them? Like the
Crane.
fire
Goes through the
escapes.
crane.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
fire
yeah,
escapes
yeah, yeah,
at the
yeah.
very very end when he's
Well, he goes
you're
through
about
a
to hit
crane
the
and he, like,
credits.
shoots out of the crane.
Yeah.
That looks so
Yeah,
cool.
so
slingshots himself out,
Really,
yeah.
really
I
rad.
thought the movement of him even crawling around Connors as the like looking like a spider crawling around him and webbing him up.
yeah.
Dude,
So
that
cool.
seems so good.
I feel like they've nailed his movements though. Like in the Sam Raimi trilogy, there were a lot of moments where I was like, his movements seem so like perfect.
I guess I just
And-
like
yeah.
By
that
the
more
end,
here.
I think, yeah, but I think in the early
I like them
days
more
of
here.
Spider-Man, I didn't think it was working. I mean, Jen, having watched me played pretty much all Spider-Man PS4, was watching this one. She's like, this one looks like the way he's moving looks like a video game. The layout of the way he's fighting, this fight looks like the video game fights you've had.
Yeah,
I'm like,
which I don't know if as a compliment, and I think that's the
I agree.
problem. Is like this movie is from an era where the CG isn't quite where it needs
It's
to be.
much better than it was though.
It is, but I feel like it being better points out its weaknesses more. And
Also, sorry, continue.
I just want to say that, in my opinion, this is the worst suit we've seen.
Really?
in Spider-Man.
Oh, I don't like
in,
the suit yet
in
at
the
all.
entire
I do.
franchise.
Doesn't it just look like you can grab your nail and scuff
Yeah.
off dirt?
But that's why I
don't
like it because it actually looks like it's something that someone could move in. It
looks like a basketball.
I appreciate that part of it, that it looks more like a movable, breathable suit. But yeah, I don't like the color scheme.
I don't like how dark it is. I don't like the long spider, and it's
love the
especially
spider.
the gold
The gold
eyes
eyes
are
were
bad. Going into Amazing Spider-Man 2, which debatably is my favorite suit in the whole franchise. Like Homecoming is fucking awesome because of the eyes, but I love the size
big
of the
white eyes, yeah.
in
Oh, I didn't
Amazing
realize they
too.
were
part
different.
two.
Oh yeah,
We'll take a look
Oh,
next.
yeah.
Oh
It's
well, yeah,
very
and
different.
in this
Yeah.
one, I also love his hands though. Like I don't love the suit, but I love the sort of contrast between the blue and the red on his fingers and shit like that.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah,
looked
it's
pretty cool.
cool.
But the material looks really weird, and even like the webbing pattern is not black or anything. It's just sort of part of it. I don't know. It looks weird to me.
I liked it. It worked for me, and I thought it was. I mean, again, I think I'm just coming off of the suit that from the Sam Raimi films, which I liked, but I always felt it was a little impractical because it always looked so heavy and so daunting and so impossibly hard to move in. Like you could tell the actor, like they did a lot of stuff practically in this, which was great, and you could really tell that. But I think ultimately the other issue that I have though is that a lot of the action in this is A, forgettable, and B, kind of understated. Like some of the big, like what's the best action sequence that happens?
Undeniably, the fight at the school.
The school, yeah.
I think that whole fight is
Awesome.
fantastic.
It's cool,
And the
but
cameo is
that's
so
like,
fucking
but
good.
that's
the
exactly my
best-
point,
that's my
right?
favorite
Shouldn't
cameo.
it be the last fight? Shouldn't it be the fight where they freeze the tower and he jumps off and all that stuff? But it's not really, and that kind of is one of my criticisms of the movie. Is there's just nothing that 100% sticks out in this as like they nailed that.
I thought they nailed that fight. I thought they nailed the school fight because of the cameo, because of how it built off of them running on the walls and the camera kind of
moving
spinning
around
around.
with
And
them.
then when he does web him the fuck up and just
That's
goes
cool.
spinning all around him, and
That part
then
was cool.
I'm gonna throw you at the window now. What? Throws her out. It's like there's good character dynamics.
enjoyable
There's a
scene,
fun
yeah.
cameo. The action looks great. It's like it kind of hits on every level for me.
It looks again like what I've always imagined the comic book / the video games to look like the battle in there of them fighting looks a lot like the right now in the Otley book. I think it's Amazing Spider-Man 2 or whatever, where they're fighting in the Kurt Connor's classroom. Not him and the Lizard, somebody else, but like Spider-Man's there and all sorts of, and it's like this looks like that. And I love when he gets thrown through the wall the second time and then throws his shoe back out because he's changing. I was like, that was great. You know?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really good. And Kurt Connors, man, I thought he was an awesome bad guy until he wasn't.
Yeah.
It's like
Until he
what
goes too
what
far,
a great
yeah.
setup where there's sympathy, you believe in this guy, you really understand his motivations overall. And then once he starts hearing voices in his head, you're like, why'd
Why?
you make this
Why
choice?
did they make that-
I don't know.
It ruins it.
But
He
it's
has-
also his motivation with this Norman Osborn character we never see, and you just don't feel like there's any real urgency there. Because you better watch out. What are you gonna do? You're just gonna fire him? The guy's the lead geneticist in the fucking planet. Like you're not gonna fire him.
Well, that's
Well,
the-
they did fire
They
him.
do fire him, and then he does it on
they
himself.
take
And I
all
was
his
like, I
work,
don't know.
But I
if
guess he
that's-
kept some of it. My biggest, I think the best scene with him is where he goes up to the glass panel and like looks in the reflection and like is moving like his other arm. It's such a like powerful moment there where it's like, yeah, like you get his motivation and then he has that moment. Why is he talking to himself?
It doesn't make sense. Like the only thing that I can rationalize is because it was Oscorp stuff, so it might be Goblin stuff somehow. But that's such a fucking stretch.
No, that's green making stretches.
It was green, and it was Oscorp, so it's like they fed that in there for a reason. But that's too big for me. I don't like it.
Too much.
And
of a
like
leap.
in your trivia and stuff, I remember, and I know that obviously, again, the trilogy was supposed to be this whole thing. Yada yada. What didn't they cut out a whole bunch of stuff that was in this movie about his parents and everything?
That was 2.
That's 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, this one there was stuff. There was a sequence about the parents that they cut out, but it wasn't really that.
Okay.
Like it didn't open anyone's eyes to things. But yeah, 2. There was a whole bunch of shit. Like
There's
Mary
so
Jane
much.
straight up cut out of the movie.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, okay.
Greg,
Yeah.
hit me with that plug.
All right, everybody.
Baby Peter.
Yeah, we got a baby Peter, and he's playing hide and seek in this house, and he's looking for his dad. His dad's really good at hide and seek. Like you would think, you're watching this, you're like, the parents clearly aren't even home. The parents, like,
I
this
don't think
is
he was
like,
playing hide and seek. I think
This
he was
guy's
just
a master.
like wandering into his dad's room.
No, because
what
his
he was
dad was
playing hide and seek. Yeah,
Because like
set
he
up the
hit
broom.
the shoes and the broom under the thing.
What were you watching?
and he's like, he counts and then goes to look for his dad, who
I was.
he eventually goes into his dad's office, where the office has been tussled. Somebody's been in there very quietly, even though they broke a window, but nobody else
That
heard
shit
this.
looked violent as fuck
Yeah,
for
yeah.
him not hearing it.
Yeah, whatever. And so Daddy runs in there.
hide and seek.
Yeah, good job. We're doing some improv here. Dad runs in there, finds it all fucked up, calls in mom, get Peter, blah, blah, blah. They start packing up their emergency documents. They have some stuff hidden away. And we're over to Aunt May and Uncle Ben's house, where we got to leave them. Everybody's crying. They leave this fucking briefcase there, protect it with your life kind of shit. They leave. They die. I don't know if that happens right there. Eventually you see a newspaper article or some shit about
I think
them
it
being
just
dead.
cuts to them being older.
Plane being dead, yeah. And then we jump ahead, and guess what? Yeah, and Peter's been living here, and he goes to school. He goes to the science school, which I didn't even know they had. I mean, I know that this is like Canada. Don't get me wrong, like it's even in Homecoming or whatever. But just is there in New York science high schools?
Midtown, whatever.
I mean, they have them in Texas.
Was it a science high school? How are you guys getting all these facts that I just
I'm
missed?
watching the movie, and
I didn't catch that either, but yeah.
Yeah, no, Midtown High. I think
Science.
it is. It's based on something real. In New
yeah,
York.
okay, cool. I just don't know about. I'm at one of them dumb kids.
Well, we have
you know what I
art
mean?
schools here, so it stands to reason they have the opposite in New York. East
Where's
Coast,
the
West
math
Coast
school?
rivalry.
You know what I mean?
That's the science school.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, back home they have like Science Academy and
That's
shit like
science.
that.
For like high school?
Back home they got Montessori Academy. You know what I mean? And then they
Or
got
like-
a school Hard
we don't have
Knocks.
anything.
Same thing, man.
Yeah.
Got nothing
Students
special.
just sort of funnel into like their different concentrations.
Peter's going to school. He's a huge fucking dork. He's being real inappropriate, staring at Gwen a lot. Turns out at home he's got a photo of her on her computer. Real
He
creepy
was editing
shit.
it. It wasn't his wallpaper.
No, he
was
was
editing
not.
it.
That's a
Touching
lie.
stuff up.
It's a
Yeah.
Great
uh-huh.
moment.
A great
Touching
line.
yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
say. Just say no, dude.
I felt
Flash
bashful.
Thompson's there. He's a dick. He's gonna hurt this one nerd kid. And he's. They're saying like, what are they saying? Eat the fruit or eat the something.
think
But
it's
he-
like spaghetti.
But they're shoving his face into a pizza slice. And I'm like, I don't know what this doesn't match up. And just eat the pizza, dude. What's wrong with you, you fucking idiot?
He's being held upside down, like
You know
face
why?
shoved
'Cause
into
he
a
wasn't
thing.
eating it
He's
already.
lactose intolerant, Greg. Come on, man. Be sensitive.
You know, no. Kevin doesn't let
Problem,
that
man.
stop him.
Not once.
And Peter stops him, and Peter gets pushed around and punched a bunch by Flash and kicked real hard, and his camera's there, and they fuck up his camera, and they open it up, and the film gets
far.
exposed. And even now,
Fucking
kids these
Eugene,
days
man.
don't understand because they have the digital cameras. It would be like in the middle of a photo taking out your SD card and fucking the entire roll up. You know what I mean? But Gwen Stacy shows up, and she stops him, and then they talk a little bit, just a real little bit though, and act like he doesn't know who she is, and she doesn't know who he is, and like, haven't you been together a long time? Whatever.
They just met.
Yeah, no. They
Wait, was this
haven't.
the scene where she's
They
like, you
have.
might have a concussion?
Yeah.
what's
Well,
your
that
name?
leads
Yeah.
him to the house. Yeah, yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
And he asks, "What's your name?" And then we get back to the house, and he's got fucking photos on his computer, like a big old creep show, Peter. That's what he's doing every night
was that
to this
face?
girl. He's never. That's well, you masturbate and show me what your face looks like.
Oh, I got the same face.
You know you're getting it good if you're getting some tone work on the lower jaw. Curl your toes and your tongue. There it is, Nick. Nick, no. Tim, give it to me. Let's go back home. Back home. Guess what, everybody? The fucking water heater is fucking flooding or some shit like that. But we don't know that. And Peter goes and he's upstairs talking to Aunt May, and then Uncle Ben comes up in his he's got no shoes on. He's like, "Come on down here. There's a flood." And he puts his stuff. They have a lovely family dynamic. That's what's being communicated to us right here, right? Peter says he fell skateboarding. It wasn't. It was Flash. He goes down there. What's wrong with this? It's a condenser, some fucking mechanical shit. I don't know. Number one crane operator,
smart.
Greg Miller, would get all this. But yeah, basically, Peter's real smart. Uncle Ben gives him a $45 steak to put on his face with no packaging. I would not. I would not do this. This is not how I would treat this steak.
How are they not wrapping their steaks? When
Also,
they put them in the
it's
freezer?
clearly it's not even frozen because it's all limp. Like
Was it all limp?
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing with
What
those
is the
steaks?
point of putting the steak on the face?
It's very
Cold meat.
visual.
Ice pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just an ice pack, right?
Well, back in the day,
What a
steak
waste of
was
steak.
cheaper than ice.
Yeah.
That's
Ice didn't exist back then.
That's fair.
Exactly.
That's fair,
Exactly.
You know what did exist during this time? A lot of fucking weird flip phones and Sony phones that nobody wanted to buy.
Yeah, and Bing. We'll
Yeah,
get
and
some,
Bing.
we'll get some
Lot
Bing
of
usage
Bing.
later
Yeah, we're
on.
getting some Bing.
Eventually we find the suitcase. Peter comes upstairs all like he got punched in the fucking head, and everybody's like, "Oh, I've never seen that." Well, he said to hold on to it. Everybody's acting real dumb about this fucking suitcase. And Peter goes through it and finds a bunch of old memorabilia from his father. Goes back upstairs. Eventually, a secret compartment with the 000 fucking shit on the back. It's spider stuff. We'll get to that later. Ben shows up and he's like, "I lied to you when you said who is this guy? I lied to your fucking face. It's Kurt Connors. He worked with your dad then forever." Blah blah. Then we bing Kurt Connors. We find all this information about him. He's got an internship program. Light bulb moment for big Peter Parker. Next day, Peter Parker goes to Oscorp where Kurt Connors works. He's going to be part of his internship program. Steals a name tag. Horrible security at this place.
Tell you what, yeah. God forbid
Take
they
your
check
name.
ID.
Paul
Find
Javier
yourself.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Roberto,
Yeah.
whatever his
Rodrigo, I
name-
thought.
Rodrigo.
Right.
Yeah.
They dragged him out.
Funny moment.
Yelling.
Funny.
Funny.
I
But
like
like-
that.
Like,
Right
that sucks. That dude had he was meant to be
Like
there.
Peter
He'll
just
be a
ruined
villain
that
in
guy's
Spider-Man
life.
3.
Yeah, dude.
He just ruined his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll help the
Also-
He's going to be the Shocker eventually.
That lady.
We just never saw it.
The
receptionist?
The receptionist is like, "Find yourself. Find yourself." And it's like, what's going
Yeah.
on?
Are you having trouble finding
weird,
yourself?
It's the
yeah.
double meaning.
I hate
Are
that
you having
line.
trouble
I
finding
hate that
yourself?
line so
Superman.
fucking much. Nobody talks like that. Nobody
No
would
one.
say "find yourself." Like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm supposed to find myself. I'm Spider-Man. It's the whole point. It's the theme of the movie. Great.
Peter goes upstairs with the rest of the interns. Guess what? Gwen Stacy's leading the interns. Then we start getting some stuff. Then he can't fucking help his little smart ass mouth, and he answers a question from Kurt Connors. This Gwen Stacy gets the big eyes, and she's already got the big eyes. Kurt Connors impressed with him, but he doesn't just say, "I'm Peter Parker." Fucking
Richard Parker.
Dick Parker's son. Come on, we're this is our however many fourth Spider-Man review. We can call him
We can
Dick.
call
all
him
right.
Dick.
No
Dick
idea
Park.
his name was
We've
Dick.
never heard of him before.
Yeah, first time we ever heard of him.
Really? You've heard about him on the internet. When they say big dick energy, that's what they're talking about.
Talking
They're
about
not-
Richard
yeah,
Parker's
Whoa.
dad.
yeah,
That's fair.
exactly. Gwen gives him the old "what the fuck, man, don't make me look stupid up here" thing, and he's like, "Sure," and then he immediately walks away and makes her look
Immediately,
stupid
yeah.
by running into the guy who's the bad guy, one of the bad guys, who's
Very convenient
who's going to
moment.
be Norman Osborn but not be Norman Osborn. He's Norman Osborn's proxy because spoilers, Norman Osborn's dying. That's why they're doing all this crazy research and shit.
Which I kind of like because it makes sense for why he would use the Goblin Serum in like the third film, but we never got to that.
They use it in the second film though.
Do they?
Yeah.
To great effect.
No.
Was I can't remember the second
No.
film at all.
We'll wait till
remember.
next week.
Don't
It's
worry
a
about it.
mucus
Don't worry
covered
about it.
guy.
Don't
It's
worry.
oh god, it's so fucking.
So
Also-
yeah, then Peter. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we see Gwen Stacy here in this lab full of all these professionals, and she's wearing the shortest skirt I've ever seen in my
And
life
a
with
long
thigh high.
That's her
jacket.
look, man.
Like and I'm like, that's just an inappropriate.
I'm into
manner
it,
of
dude.
I liked
Good for
it.
her.
Yeah.
They
I
nailed
liked
it.
it, but when you're working in a medical lab, it just seems like that
The
was
stockings
inappropriate.
covered her. She was
Okay.
fine.
She was covered.
She was good.
Peter gets away, gets into this old
does.
spider
I
room.
know she looks
Big
good,
old
Andy.
room of spiders doing all sorts of weird shit
they're
with weird
collecting
fucking
webs.
crap and stuff.
What the
So
fuck
many spiders.
is the point of this room?
The spider room?
This is where
the nightmare room.
Here,
Like, let's
here-
just.
here are the questions that I have from this, right? Is that he's bitten by these spiders. What is the point of the spider? They're doing obviously genetic manipulation on these
No,
spiders.
they're collecting the spider web. Like in one of the random TVs in the background, they're like talking about this tensile strength of this fiber they create.
So that's the stuff that goes in the little pods
Yeah.
that he orders on eBay.
well, he also
That
steals
nobody-
a couple pods, right?
He steals
Yeah,
them,
he's just
And
like,
then
I'm
that's how
gonna
he-
snatch one of these.
But the
without
spiders
knowing what
are
they're
clearly
for.
genetically manipulated to have better strength, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the one that bites
Yeah,
him
yeah,
and
yeah.
gives him the spider power.
Yeah.
But you assume that that's the same research that's going into the lizard spider power, right? Or the lizard power that allows him to mutate.
Well, remember this a Big Dick Parker's research, and this is what changed everything. We'll hear later from Kurt. So these were the first step in the thing.
Right. So was Peter experimenting on when he was a kid? Why was he
That's
able
what
to?
they were building towards.
That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's building towards a storyline that never had any real.
Ultimates did that too, right? The Ultimate comics where it was.
Yeah. So jumping ahead a little bit.
Jump on it.
In the post-credit scene, right? Connors is in a prison cell,
What an
speaks with
awful scene
the
that
man
was.
in the shadows who asks if Peter knows the truth about his father. The man in the shadows is the Gentleman, which is a unknown Spider-Man villain, pretty much.
Smart.
But
Could be anybody. Could be the Chameleon.
for decades, the wealthy
Could be the Karma
Gustav Fiers controlled a criminal organization. Fiers had a lethal reputation in the criminal underworld, known for conducting elaborate plans to increase his own wealth, involved behind the scenes in various significant events in global history. He eventually learned that Richard and Mary Parker, two agents under his employ, were double agents working for the United States government. When the Parkers were hired by Albert Malik, Fiers informed Malik of their disloyalty. Malik hired his brother, the Finisher, to kill the Parkers. The Finisher succeeded in doing so, but decades later was killed in battle with Parker's son, Spider-Man. It all fills into this storyline that, it's like...
That's a
never
cool
see.
storyline. I like that.
So what were
It's too
they
bad we never
experimenting
got
on
to-
Peter for?
So he could take the spider power.
Yeah.
It's
like
literally a 1 in a million shot that he would wander in there, but he did it. You know what I mean?
It
'Cause he's
happened.
Peter Parker.
Well, you assume if they were
Big dick
experimenting on at a certain
Also,
point, he was gonna
let-
be like, "Hey, Peter, come here for a second."
Well, he had the spider in the house. Like, they had the spider...
It was like it had a little frame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you imagine if the parents weren't fucking gunned down.
They'd experiment on their child?
Yeah.
That
What-
seems interesting. And they
Make him
weren't
bad.
gunned down, they were
Hey,
blown out of shit.
I'll tell you one thing right now. If I could have been Spider-Man
weren't
instead
gunned
of
down in
the
the
fat
ship.
little pud that I was when I was 13 years old, I would have thanked my parents for that. 1 in a million shot, I'll take it.
All right.
Peter fucks with the web.
Sorry, really quick, I just want to say, before Peter goes into that web room, there's that extremely elaborate lock. Why not just have a keypad? You know, something that out of the corner,
Because
you
this,
can just look
this
and
is
be like, all right,
unhackable.
keypad.
This is 2012.
This is
baby.
unhackable.
They hacked it.
I know, right?
He
from
really hacked it
from
easily.
literally around the corner where Cool Greg is, Peter Parker's like, got it, no problem.
Now, real talk though.
Never seen a
I
keypad
get that
like
it's
this.
a movie. I get that it's a Spider-Man movie. So we got to set some things up somehow, and he has to have the courage to do some things. But there is probably no room that I would go into less than that
the
room
spider
covered
room?
in
Than the
the fucking key-controlled room that looks like hazmat. You look like you're gonna get radioactive
Yeah,
shit just
it's
walking
terrifying,
in.
terrifying.
Let alone the most spider webs moving I've ever seen, and thousands of
all these
spiders.
spiders fall on him.
he
Neon
handles
spiders.
He
It looks
handles
cool.
the spiders falling on him so much better than I would have.
right through the web. Yeah.
100%.
They would have just they come in an hour later, Kevin's stuck in the web and they're just eating his face. Like, help me.
Meanwhile, he just goes,
No,
That-
he's trying to be
no.
quiet.
yeah, with fucking 10 spiders
I
on you.
would've
That's the
no
point.
way
I'd
it's
be like,
happening.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's
Help
panicking, but
me.
he's like, oh, shit.
Help
Like,
me.
you could tell
Yeah.
he's like, fucking shit, this sucks.
He gets out of there though. One spider on the back of his neck. Gwen talks to him again, like, "What the fuck? Get out!" kind of thing.
me your card.
As she leaves, he gets bit. He leaves. Hooray, everybody! I'm sure some other shit happened here. Kirk Connors is doing something with
No,
his
I
one
think
arm.
that was it.
Then we're on to the New York subway, where Peter's sleeping and having fever dreams of spiders, as you do. And some guy there decides to be an asshole and put a beer on Peter's head.
Really weird.
And yeah, well, you know how you fuck with people. I do this to you all the time. Beer.
Sleeping people,
You fall
yeah.
asleep on the flight to London tomorrow. I'm putting a beer bottle on your head.
The thing with the beer bottle is
please
like it
make
ends up
sure you do
spilling,
that.
right? And it's just like no shit's gonna spill. Like even if someone was laying on a bed, that's one thing. On a fucking moving subway, there's no way this thing's gonna stay. This thing's gonna
But
fall. It's
Tim,
gonna be your
that-
fault, you
Tim,
asshole.
That's the art of it.
He's a
If you can
vagabond
get
on
to
a
this
subway.
day,
He's a
it
drunk
feels great.
idiot on the subway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peter gets up, he splashes beer on the woman, he's sticking to everything, he sticks to her shirt, rips her shirt off, sticks to the bar, rips the bar down, spider sense is kicking in, he's jumping all around, he's on the roof, he's doing all sorts of
so
stuff.
nimble, so bimble.
Exactly. Immediately having a pretty good athletic kick here in terms of knowing how to do a lot of footwork. Can't unstick himself, which is funny. That's cool. All right, cool.
In the trivia, there was a scene. I usually don't talk about continuity stuff because it's like it's a fucking movie. But in this one of the guys that goes after him with the skateboard, he's a white dude with a skateboard, and then it cuts, and he like Spider-Man's like going like this, and then it cuts back, and it's a black dude with a skateboard.
That's
No, so I heard that
The editing was really bad
Yeah,
there.
it's
in
mostly
that, yeah.
editing was kind of really weird in a lot
Overall,
of the whole movie. But yeah, it wasn't the same guy. It wasn't a continuity thing. It was just because of how it was
Describe the
edited. It
skateboard.
looked like there was always like one white guy, one black guy. But it looked like the guy changed race mid swing.
I thought that whole scene was really weird because in it, that guy being an asshole. But then when he gets up and rips off that girl's shirt by accident, no one knows it's an accident. Now he's like sexually assaulting someone.
Yeah.
So I feel like everyone's reaction of getting mad at him makes sense. And then he beats them all up by accident.
Had to.
But it I thought that was a really
I didn't like
weird
the scene
way
at
to
all.
introduce his
Me too.
powers and make him, like, again, not starting on the right foot.
It felt really lazy. Yeah.
Also fast.
Yes.
You know, at least for Toby, he felt sick. He went home, took a nappy poo, and then like totally changed.
Sure.
Whereas he just got bit and he's immediately starting to do some
Yeah.
weird stuff. You know.
Also,
But
kept cutting to black. In the middle of the fight, which is
the truck going or train going. He runs home. Aunt May and Uncle Ben there worried about him. Oh, what's been going on with Big Peter Parker here? You know what I mean? Is he getting that big Dick Parker energy? I'm worried about.
don't call him that. Stop.
Well, Andy started it. Once one of us does it, the other has to do it.
You did
That's
it
all
way,
of us.
way
Law.
further.
It's law. Thank you.
Law.
The press says it's law. He gets there and he's really hungry. He's really sweaty too. So like now he's got some fucking biological stuff going on,
He
right?
just acts like he's on some sort of drug.
And he takes frozen mac and cheese. Like, well, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. This meatloaf's good. Funny little meatloaf line from Uncle Ben. That's funny.
It's really
Fun.
cute, yeah.
He goes upstairs. They argue at the meatloaf. Congratulations, everybody. Peter wakes up with the more of the powers, more Spidey powers or whatever, right?
Destroys the alarm, breaks everything.
I love that.
I like this. I did like this too. Of like, yeah, I like what it would be like to suddenly have
super strong.
have super strong.
The
Have super
pulling
strong.
off the doorknob and then going to the second doorknob.
Yeah, and doing it
super
so
slow.
quick. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he goes to his room, and then does he do the thing where he bings? Is this where he bings spider bite
He
things?
starts binging.
And he gets the
There's
skis
a
on
poster
funny.
of Donald
Funny
Glover
monitor.
in his room.
Oh, really?
A reference to Donald Glover, the famous campaign for him to be Spider-Man in this movie. And he almost was, and then
Didn't happen.
they're like, we can't have a black Spider-Man. And then here we are.
Things were different in 2012.
Is this before Miles, or
yeah,
were people
did that
saying
lead
for him to
into
be
Miles?
Miles?
This was around Miles being a thing, but he wanted to be Peter. Like,
okay.
he was in the talks to be.
He got to
this,
be
and
the
internet
Prowler,
was, like,
though.
super
I was gonna
behind
say
it.
That's pretty
that
exciting.
sucked. That would have been cool because I love Donald Glover, but I don't know if he would have saved the movie. So it's cool that like at least he's got established in the Homecoming universe and is setting up Miles there. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
As the Prowler.
Sticks, bing, spider bites. Something's wrong. We go back to school. Yeah, is that right? We go back to
Sounds
school.
right. That feels right.
Basketball scene, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
They
do the
gotta
basketball
stop doing
scene.
basketball scenes. In,
Oh, you know,
like, super
it's been
movies.
established. Peter Parker, a big basketball fan, as we learned in Spider-Man 3 when he dribbled the ball for the first time ever.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Never
He
forget.
embarrasses Flash Thompson. Just makes a fool of him.
Yeah.
Dunking on this loser.
And then he breaks the backboard, does all this stuff. Uncle Ben's got to come in. Uncle Ben's like,
You better pick up your aunt. Don't forget.
Don't forget
Well,
your
I'm
aunt.
gonna forget.
Yeah. Then we get the Gwen Stacy thing, though. Of course,
That's a
we're
great.
going on a date.
I love that moment.
Fun stuff here. Yeah, he's got you on her computer.
Yeah.
or his
he's
computer.
like,
On his
so
parole
creepy, like
officer.
such an
Come on,
uncle.
dude.
Come
to
on,
his
Uncle
son, or, like,
Ben.
Chill out, dude.
Dude, Uncle Ben was a good wingman in that. A little bit.
No, dude, that could have
could've
gone
went
so
one of two
bad.
ways.
No, Uncle Ben, dude.
Uncle Ben read the room. He knew.
fucking knows
There's no-
what's
he
up,
did
dude.
not read the room.
You
He
can
saw
see
it in the corner of the eye.
the
Have you
electricity and hard nipples from both of these
Have
kids. You know what their
fucking
hormones are doing.
seen the movie Smokey and the Bandit? Do you know how
No.
cute Sally Fields is in that movie?
I do know.
Uncle
I've seen
Ben
the movie.
got Sally Fields at her prime, dude. He knows how to fucking score.
It's true.
He
It's
is
true.
Uncle Ben's scoreboard. Scoreboard 1, 0 for the rest of us over here.
What
we
about
lost.
Big Dick Energy Parker?
We're the ones that lost.
I didn't know we were fighting Uncle Ben. We don't know. Fucked up. Peter hits it off with Emma Stone there, and then it's like, all right, I got to go see a doctor about a spider. And he goes to Kurt Connor's house, where he's like, you fucking intern, you can't come to my house. And he's like, I'm Peter Parker, or I'm Richard Parker's son.
Nice house that he's
Peter
got
Parker.
here.
Great
Yeah,
house.
Come on now.
It's very
Hey,
European
I'm sure he's getting paid real well.
He's
from,
getting-
from-
I just
From
hate
Oscorp, yeah.
I hate the movieism of like, sorry, you can't be here, and like going straight for the door close. It's like, you didn't have to do
I
that.
probably
but,
treat
like
him
if
like
someone
that.
knocks at your door and you're like, oh man, like let's say a best friend knocks on
Yeah,
your
Barrett
door.
Courtney knocks on your
No,
door.
I'm,
be
talking.
like a,
I'm talking like the movieism of like, sorry, I'm gonna close the door unless you say something that I, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
that sort of bullshit.
It was good. It was good. It was
It's
good.
fine.
It was good.
You never open the
fine.
door to Jehovah's Witness, immediately figure it out, and just close the door.
I don't know. I just
I
said
like
like,
to
no,
close
thank
it,
you.
take my pants off, open it up slowly.
What are you doing with your tongue when you
Witness
do that?
this.
Anyways,
Tell
he
me about
comes
your
in,
Lord.
talks about it, right? Yeah, and this is where he gives them the equation,
yeah.
right? Of like, how about trying this and all this stuff? And he does the funny thing about he just made it up when he really was just stealing his dad's work.
Yeah.
And clearly he was trying not to give these people, well, let's just give it to him. Yeah, they talk forever, right? And that's how he misses picking. He gets a call from Uncle Ben and he doesn't answer it, and then he goes home and he's all excited that this is happening. Uncle Ben's super mad on the porch. They didn't pick up his aunt. Aunt May's in there like it's not a big deal. They all start yelling at each other. Again, I feel like, now granted, Peter's a kid, but you could have diffused, and this is just movie bitching. You could have diffused this pretty easily, right? If I went and saw Kirk Connors. You know what I mean? Like Morgan, maybe I could give you a little bit of leeway here on these ramifications that have, but instead they just yell at each other for a while, and then Peter gets all mad about him not being his dad, and then he leaves and he slams the door and he breaks the glass, and that was cool. He goes for a walk, and then Uncle Ben starts out walking after him, of course, and then Peter won't answer his calls, and Peter hides up in the thing. Peter's been experimenting with spider powers, by the way. Peter hides up in the thing. Uncle Ben keeps walking. Peter wants a chocolate milk because he's a fucking child.
Whoa. Nothing wrong with wanting a chocolate milk, everybody.
Goes to the bodega to get the chocolate milk. He's short 2 cents. They won't let him take the pennies from take a penny, leave a penny. It was annoying and funny, and I like that. But then a guy after him holds up the place, kind of. Knocks over the thing, steals the money, tosses the thing. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question, though.
He looks like a hair metal
He looks like Chad Kroger.
In this spot, not being Spider-Man, you let the guy rob the store, right? Like this, where I was being so hard on Peter, and granted, he could have potentially stopped. He didn't know his fucking powers. He had no idea he was capable of doing at this point.
If someone runs out of the store and is like, "Hey, can you help me catch him?"
I'm like,
no,
the guy with the gun?
Well,
No.
you didn't know he had the gun yet.
I guess they didn't.
Because he trips and then drops the gun. And this is my big fucking moment. Where I get
goes
upset.
for the gun.
Why? Just
Protect
fucking,
people.
just back up.
Hey,
Like,
man.
no one was in danger. It was just him and the
Literally no one
gun.
around him.
Listen, Uncle Ben comes
Sees the
from the
gun.
greatest generation, all right? He
true.
sees a
He
gun or
fought
a
in
Nazi,
WW2.
he's
I
jumping
guess
on
that's
both.
why he's dead now, you know?
Yeah.
But why is the guy running out? This guy, why is he bumbling and stumbling so much in this
People
city?
trip, right? That's the thing that a
But
lot
he's
of
just
people do.
bumping into everybody. Like
Maybe he saw The Departed.
Yeah, I was like,
I
waiting
really
for it.
appreciate Alec
Man,
Baldwin's performance.
it was an open net, and I was waiting.
Everything, the coordinator and stuff.
best picture, dude.
Uncle Ben gets
6.
shot. Oh my God. Peter's across the street. Peter runs over there, applies little to no pressure to the wound before giving
That
up.
scene was fucked up. I feel like they went too far. They didn't need to show him fucking trying to put pressure on it as his uncle bleeds out in front of him.
Then we're back to the house where it's like, well, you can't hear everything, but they're Peter. We didn't get into that. Martin Sheen, not even getting the respect of that. But we'll get to his final lines later. They show Aunt May a sketch as if she's gonna fuck it. Like this was a fucking. This is a perfect. This is exactly how this guy drew up his plan. Then they cut. Peter asks some questions and takes the sketch. Also, still has blood-covered hands. He's like, wash your hands, Peter. Somebody would have talked to you. I think at this point, you know what I mean.
Blood stains your skin. So
You can wash it though,
yeah.
especially if you're eating yogurt. You know what I mean.
Sounds like a science with Kev.
Science with Kev.
How hard would it be to clean blood off your
I don't
hands?
know. I figure the whole ordeal probably takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes for the cops to get there and be like, yeah, he's done. And there's no access to
You're there for at least an hour with blood on your hands.
Yeah, so that's soaked in there pretty good.
You can't just be like,
Andy,
excuse me a
give
second,
me
let
your hand.
me
I'm
go.
gonna make myself bleed, and then we're gonna test this.
Andy, let him cut your hand, and he cuts his hand. You guys can be blood brothers.
Blood brothers.
Greg, do you want to be blood
Damn
and
it,
semen
so
brothers
yeah,
with me?
maybe
I'll be semen
he
brothers for
had
sure.
washed it off.
In your mouth into mine.
Complete the circle. Complete the circle.
Science with Kev.
I'm still Kevin.
That might be one of the most disgusting things we've ever said on
Science
this
with
show.
Kev, I agree.
gross.
Back
Spaced out.
to
What did they say?
nothing. Nobody said anything.
worry
It's
about it,
fine.
Kevin.
But if you
Don't
want to
worry
send us
about it.
animations of that, feel free.
Yeah.
Nick
Jesus
__
Christ.
Scarpino.
Yeah, Zach.
Peter's mad.
Peter's like, I'm gonna go fuck
I'm gonna go hunt this guy down.
I'm gonna start running around, use my spider powers that I
right
figured
before
out.
they leave, they're like, oh yeah, he also has a star on his hand.
Yeah, let me give you
FYI.
some
When did
more
they see that?
information.
I guess the
cashier guy.
cashier?
Maybe they had closed circuit television.
Yeah.
At which point they're also like, by the way, son, you're under arrest for stealing chocolate milk. You're an accessory to all this. No!
You killed your grandpa.
So yeah, Peter starts running around fucking up everybody who looks like Chad Kroger. That's his new MO, you know what I mean? And he eventually chases one of the Chad Krogers down an alley. and a bunch of and the rest of Nickelback streams out to fight him.
Where did they come from? Where were they?
They were in the bar.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so all
Peter,
18 of them decided to come out.
Peter
at the same
does this
time.
amazing job of climbing the fire escape, all this acrobatics, but Chad Kroger's able to run up the fucking stairs and get there. Like, Jesus, all right.
He was gonna sexually assault a girl, and he was like, "I want your pants around your waist." It's a Nickelback song.
When does he sexually? Is that a song about sexual assault?
No, it's just like he's a fucking, you know.
Give me the rest. I don't know. I don't know the song.
There.
I want your pants around you with dun 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 dun. I love the so say please. You're my favorite damn disease. That's the way the song goes.
I want your
pants around your waist.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense because pants are normally
waist?
around the
legs,
waist.
maybe.
Okay, that's better. That's better. It's like I want your pants around your waist.
Come on.
Really turns me on to just fucking grind on each other, fully clothed.
What?
That's what I want.
What happened in that scene? Like, it seemed like two people were arguing, right? The dude was about to get physical with the girl.
He was gonna get physical with that woman.
And then it seemed like she turned
she
on
was
Peter, right? She was still on their team.
Yeah. Stockholm syndrome.
Interesting.
She's trapped.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, it's
Oh yeah, they
it's
had
bad
like a
stuff.
relationship. He was just beating her up because of.
But anyways,
something.
yeah,
That's
they
so
get up
sad.
there, and all of Nickelback and Chad Kroeger scale this building in 2 seconds,
Yeah.
and then continue to chase,
Yeah.
like not even disengage. They've scared off this kid,
Yeah.
but no,
that was Venom. He didn't know that. And that's how he saw Athletic.
God damn it, that would have been awesome. He eventually falls through a roof.
seen your face.
Yeah, lands in a conveniently placed wrestling ring. I've seen your face, and then he looks at a fucking luchador mask, and he's like, maybe they shouldn't see my face.
That's how it happened.
Maybe
He
they
nailed it.
shouldn't do this, Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben's on his shoulder going, eh.
Like he's fucking Voldemort on the back of the head.
We're making a better movie right now. So yeah, Peter gets a mask and he gets some sunglasses, and that's his new thing. And again, he's just running around fucking up Chad Kroeger's.
I like the look.
Oh yeah, it's a good look.
Sunglasses.
Sure.
It's a solid move.
Again, I always like the normal escalation of what you would actually try to wear if you were a character in this universe, right? Like you're.
Can we
dressed
start
this way.
eating those now?
Yeah, there's
Oh yeah, sponsorship's done. Now we can just eat them. I already got into them. They're delicious. And so then it starts to expand. Daily Bugle's involved here. They're on the TV. There's Daily Bugle news station.
I think it zooms into a thing that asking for money for no. That was later. That was
Yeah, but we do see they establish the paper, but they also establish that there's a news channel, and then there's him crawling and going away, and people see him. Somewhere in here, he makes the web shooters too.
Does it
where
cut-
again, back to Nick's point, how did he get this box of experimental web
ordered
fluid?
that on Amazon.
No, he
Like,
was.
they're
He
like a
was.
thing.
Wasn't he always playing with little things? In
That's
the
fine
basement?
that he's okay to play with it.
Yeah.
He had a box that said Oscorp and it had all these cartridges in it.
He must
He
have just
ordered
bought
it
them online.
Like,
Yeah,
apparently, and this is the weirdest
the
part of this
tensile
world.
strength,
In this world,
real high.
this stuff is a tool that people use on a commercial level. So like he Googled video of it, and it's like the tensile thing is really great for
Yeah.
moving shit. And
My
like,
apologies, everybody.
okay, but like, wouldn't someone be like, hey, that spider guy's using our thing. This is probably an incredibly expensive thing. Why don't we figure out who this person is?
You're overthinking it of how Peter can afford any of this stuff. Orders his amazing bobsled, whatever, fucking toboggan suit, and then just fucking has it custom made. No guy in China's like, man, that Spider-Man guy looks a lot like this thing I'm making. Whatever.
You just put in the note field when you ordered it. Please don't tell anyone this is me.
Listen, you're entering a written contract with me right now. This is an NDA
I will find
that
you
I
in
am in
Shanghai.
fact Spider-Man.
If you're ever in danger, I'll never save you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everybody gets one. And so yeah, eventually he gets the spider suit. Hooray, cool. Meanwhile, Doc Connor's doing all sorts of shit too. He's like, oh man, like I'm gonna get fired by this guy who's Norman Osborn, but not Norman Osborn. Is just super fucking evil. All right, cool.
But he was also afraid of getting fired. He's like,
They
if you
just keep
fuck this up,
threatening-
we're both gonna get
Yeah,
fired.
you're gonna kill Norman Osborn, whatever. The fucking rats only got 3 legs, and they keep dying and doing stuff. And then him and Peter experiment around. I think at the time Uncle Ben got killed. They experiment around, they fix it, they solve it. Yay, they do.
Their animation department, fantastic.
They do some broke ass
Animating
Tony
all-
Stark shit of moving crap around and like simulating.
Animating all these mice growing new limbs from new animals.
Yeah,
like,
also
wow.
like a
Fail.
simulation that can
Yeah.
handle all that and be like, oh yeah, no, this is gonna die. You know,
Pretty smart.
it's very complicated
Yeah.
computing.
They grow back the thing, and then they leave, and then Kurt's gonna get fired. So he's like, "Fuck it, I won't let you test this on these veterans at the hospital. I'll just test it on myself immediately.
It's
'Cause
weird
This is
that-
my life's work."
They have this amazing simulation that can tell you very accurately. Well, not really accurately, I guess, because they totally fucked up and made a giant mutant rat that nobody knows just escaped and fucking.
He didn't even escape. It's
Peter's
just
like,
chilling
"What
there
is that?
eating.
Oh, fuck!
This giant
I gotta
thing,
stop him."
I'm gonna fight this giant lizard, but the giant rat, that's just let it go. Now this thing's multiplying because rats fucking multiply like crazy, and it doesn't matter. They have a simulation that will tell you within a varying degree of error whether or not this is a good idea to put this chemical in another mammal. Why not run that simulation for human beings?
They
they
couldn't go back to formula. They had to make it happen right
Gotcha.
then and there.
Gotcha,
You know
you're
what I
right.
mean?
It was a throwback to the first
Exactly.
Back to formula.
And I think you're the one who called out, of course. Like, well, hold on. Spider-Man, saves the bad guy from Oscorp, right?
Saves the bad
We're
guy.
on the bridge. We're on the bridge here,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Because we never really see him again.
Nope.
No. Yeah, he's
Okay.
gone after
And
that.
again, like you said, like
He
you're
got fired.
fired.
Yeah.
Well, no, sure, but Connors got fired too.
Yeah.
But still had access to his lab for a little bit, and then got all
Seemed
stuffed
to,
down
like,
into the sewer.
unpack.
Got us stuffed down into the
Yeah.
sewer too. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I saw people get fired from IGN and they get immediately walked out. You know,
I saw people
Well, they
get
said
fired
he
from
had till
IGN
the
immediately
morning.
walked out.
Speaking
But again,
of,
but he uses the night to go be the lizard for the first time.
Can I get an ice water?
speaking of the guy that was driving on the bridge, though, the Norman Osborn's dude.
Yeah.
Did you guys recognize his limo driver? He is the Uncle Ben's first killer in the Spider-Man franchise.
Interesting.
That's
What?
neat.
Super weird.
Nah, it's a nice little Easter
Dyed
egg.
white hair.
I forget any of his lines. Thanks. That's one of them. So yeah, Kurt takes it, fucking passes out, wakes up. He's got a giant fucking cocoon on his arm. Starts tearing that shit apart with reckless abandon.
I thought that was a really cool scene.
Yep.
Agreed.
I thought that, like,
Gelatinous.
if you're gonna make this bad guy the lizard, like, I felt like that was a very good modernization, and like it felt very MCU to me.
Yeah.
To give this movie a high compliment.
He's got a milky white arm. Everything seems
It's
good.
new, fresh
Then he
skin.
starts freaking out of it. And he's like, "Oh no, I gotta get the guys on the fucking bridge. You gotta stop him." Oh, no, blah blah blah.
I think he rubbed one out.
He
Wasn't
starts
it
going.
first, though?
I feel nice and
He was
jelly.
like, I've never felt what this one feels like.
You know
what I
that
mean?
like the muscles aren't there. The speed's not right.
Yeah, but it's wet, dude.
He also did the thing. No one else did it with him. I'm just saying, like, we have rules. Let's stick to them.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
did
You left
the
me
thing.
hanging on
There
that.
was a scene that I think was before this where they bring up the tree of life and then
Yeah.
like you see all the
Spiders.
stuff. And it's like it's spiders, but you also see a bunch of different animals that are capable of the cross breeding stuff. The rhino's one of them, and there's like a lot of just different hints at Spider-Man villains that could be. Cool shit.
But won't.
Oh, we get the Rhino.
He gets
Oh, you're right.
We get Paul Giamatti as the Rhino. Don't forget about
true.
that.
his.
I love it.
He kills it. He then goes down and gets in the cab. Immediately, he's having a conniption fit in the back, and the cab's just like, "Whatever. I see you kind of mutating. You got fucking needle hands. Whatever. Go ahead. We'll go. This is not gonna go far." Of course, he turns into a lizard. He breaks out of the thing. He starts running up the bridge. Spider-Man hears about this. Excuse me, having trouble breathing. And
Now, this is when Spider-Man is visiting Gwen Stacy's family.
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
So we
So
forgot about
Spider-Man
them.
already had his suit, and then he went back to Gwen's house, but he came up through the fire escape, 20 floors. That's a weird choice.
Very, very, very weird choice.
Why would you do this, Peter? This is a stupid way to do it. Of course.
Oh, it's because there's a deleted scene.
Intimidated by the doorman.
There's a deleted
Oh,
scene
yeah, I heard about
where
that.
there's he mentions intimidating the doorman the intimidating doorman, and when he has the flowers with all the dirt, and you're like, what the fuck is that? There's a deleted scene where he like grabs the flowers from right next to it. The doorman gets mad at him. It turns into this whole fucking thing.
Gotcha.
So he's like, fuck this. I'm just
Doorman played by Bruce Campbell.
gonna- Is it?
No, I just made that up.
That would have been amazing. They're like, we're just gonna keep this terrible joke going.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, I hated this next scene. The dinner scene.
Well, my
When they're
question
sitting
is-
down. It's like, why would he handle this situation so poorly?
Also,
Don't
how much
argue.
does a captain of the New York Police Department make a year? Because this apartment
It's
is
a
like a
solid question.
9-bedroom fucking palatial estate.
Oh, so you're going to tell me that you don't believe his wife could have a high paying job? Ladies and gentlemen, I might just be a
Jeez.
small town pizza lawyer.
Get
fucked,
Put the cuss on. You got me.
Also, like, it's the same thing, too. Like, yeah, he's a high ranking official, and he's just, as usual, out on every fucking call.
Yeah.
He's getting picked up by helicopters. He's getting into fucking cars. They can't wipe their ass at the NYPD if Dennis Leary isn't there to say, all right,
Dennis
I'm an
fucking
asshole.
And the great part too is toward the end when there's not one, not two, but like 5
Plainclothes officers?
no, not plainclothes officers, like actual
SWAT team?
SWAT team guys. He's like, I'm gonna go up in this building by
Yeah, I'm
myself.
gonna run up to the top of that thing by myself.
No one else come with me. I'm
right.
only the fucking police captain. I should be staying down here. You guys should be risking your lives first at the door. Don't worry, I got
Anyways, Peter and Dennis, yeah, they escalate the situation here, arguing about Spider-Man. Again, like you're saying, good stand-in for J. Jonah Jameson. I don't love this scene. It just didn't work too well for me personally.
I thought the dinner scene was great.
I liked it.
I didn't like the scene of leading into it of him coming in the window. I'm like, that's just fucking weird.
Yeah,
Like, there's
I
no
agree.
way to talk yourself out of that. No way.
That's weird.
Like, if someone was like, wait a minute, you really crawled up
The
fucking
fire escape 20.
You don't
to see
understand.
my
She was
daughter?
in love.
No, her,
Oh.
cool. Her, We're stupid kids. I want to fuck you. I get it. I would do anything.
You don't think he just assumed that like he snuck in earlier?
Yeah, that he. Yeah,
because that's what I thought.
That's
like,
that was my thinking.
While,
that was my
punk.
thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. They have a whole family there. No one saw. Don't buy it.
How many kids do they got? They got a bunch of
got a
kids.
bunch of
Kids.
There's
Like,
3
what
other
does
boys.
the wife do? I should do that job. Is
Fine
she in
art collector.
finance? Like, what does she do?
Then we get to see. We go up to the roof to have a little conversation there between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker, and he hems and haws about telling her, and then she walks away, and he webs her booty kind of her side and pulls her back. She's like, oh, and then they kiss, and
She
she's
gets
Spider-Man.
turned on.
Yeah, of course she does. What do you?
yeah.
Another great moment of them interacting together,
Yeah.
where it's like, dude, it's so believable.
So real.
So
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
I just like that we don't sit on nobody knowing he's Spider-Man, having that be the big trope of why all the dramatic tension happens
Yeah,
in the
but
movie.
everybody except for Aunt May knows that he's Spider-Man in this.
Aunt May knows.
Aunt May figures it out eventually.
Does she?
Yeah,
On
she
this?
figures it out. She
Yeah.
looks.
Yeah,
at the
She
end.
sees. She figures it out when
Did
he's
you
sitting at
watch
the
this movie?
table. Remember, he's sitting at the morning table, and she looks at him like he's clearly distraught, and his face is all fucked up, and she kind of starts putting it together. And then when he comes into the end, she's like,
It's not
She didn't
explicitly
ask me a
said.
question.
She's not like, I know, but it's like later, like towards
When he
the
comes
end.
back from the final fight, yeah.
Honestly, I did not
brings her
enjoy
the
this
eggs.
movie. I
She
was
says
playing
nothing.
Spider-Man the game during this.
Jesus.
"No, that's fair."
better
use of your time.
Yeah, and then Gwen's mom comes up and like, Gwen, your father needs you at the table. and Gwen's like,
Garfield's
okay.
hiding
And then,
his boner and
then,
shit.
yeah, exactly. And Gwen now. And then she goes,
Which
but
I thought was fucking weird because it's just like the mom had a moment, at least acted like, all right, man, this is awkward for me, but I'm going to be cool about this. Like, come down, Gwen.
I'm gonna be cool, mom.
Gives like not even 1 second before saying, come now. And it's like, yo.
And the dad's already
Be
gone.
fucking cool.
Peter knows it too. He just jumps off the roof. Again, a lot of questions for this family as to how Peter's getting in and out of their building, but they're like, whatever. And yeah, he swings over to the bridge to fight the lizard. He goes over there. Lizard's tearing shit apart. He finds the guy, grabs the guy. Spider-Man saves the guy. Lizard's throwing cars off. Spidey's webbing him as he goes. Lizard's starting to get away or whatever. His arm's starting to go away already. Guy, who's the guy? The construction worker's like, my kid's down
See
there.
Thomas Howell, man.
Who's that?
He was in the Outsiders. He was in a bunch of movies in the 80s, like the early.
He's got
late
that
80s.
face that I recognize, but I don't know where from.
Yeah, he was in a really bad movie called Soul Man.
Oh, Soul Man.
Yeah.
Just let your soul
That's from
go.
that's from Coming to America. But
Oh.
it's very similar context, I guess.
That's Eric LaSalle.
Eric LaSalle was the one that.
And that's the one with
He's the guy that is karate.
what?
and
It's
VR
not
control.
McDonald's. What is? Or it is McDonald's. McDowell's.
McDowell's? Yeah.
That's Coming to America, right?
Yeah.
That's a great flick.
Great film. We should do Eddie Murphy in a review, where we just
should
do
do
all
that
the
one.
good Eddie Murphy movies.
Nutty Professor.
And no, that's a bad
Nutty
one.
Professor 2?
No, we're not
The
doing
Clumps?
Any. You know what? I take it back. We're not
Dr.
doing any.
Dolittle, dude.
Absolutely not. He did all those. Jesus Christ.
Meet Dave.
I want Beverly Hills. Cop.
Anyways,
8 hours.
Peter decides that rather than chase the lizard, he'll go back and save the kid. He goes down there to the kid, come with us, kid. He rips off the thing. Kid gets scared. He takes off his mask before all this. I'm just a person like you. Tosses the kid the mask for courage. Car starts to go on fire.
Yeah, I guess you would be scared if you really didn't know what Spider-Man was.
And that's my biggest problem with this scene is I fucking love it. I think it's so great, and I think it shows so much of who Spider-Man is, but they don't know who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
Spider-Man hasn't been Spider-Man yet. Like, he's not getting newspaper covers, and he's not, like, there's not a history of him stopping crime. Like,
Right.
So there's just a
So what-
freak in a
what's your
costume
problem?
watching you burn
he's
alive.
just a scary looking, like, bug man that you just got, your car got thrown up. I'd assume he threw me off. You know
Well,
what I mean?
yeah,
I'd be
but he
freaking
also
out.
you also scream, somebody help my kid, and he's the guy who comes over and he's like, what's going on? And I'm gonna
You're
go
not
get
hearing
Timmy
your
or
dad.
Jimmy or
that
whatever.
kid ain't hearing that
Yeah.
shit.
I'm not talking about the kid at all. I'm
talking
talking
about the kid.
We're talking about the kid in the
so
thing
why?
would be freaking
So then
out.
why isn't it well done? Because he is like, I'm just a guy like you, and tosses his mask to him.
No, I'm just
Doesn't
saying,
he
like,
answer the problem?
If I were that kid,
No,
I'd be
because
freaking
it's,
out
I feel
constantly.
like, yeah, it's just like, I get that he's helping him, so he's like, all right, I'm going to listen to this. But it's like, you don't know who Spider-Man is.
He's
But
a
that's
guy.
why
He's a
he takes
human
off the
being right
mask.
there to help you. He
Yeah,
says
like,
he's there to help you.
I feel like
I think the
they're
scene
right on
plays
that. Yeah,
right.
Him taking off the mask, being because you're right. He didn't know who Spider-Man was,
Agreed.
and that's why he takes off the mask to be like,
I'm
"Look,
not a
I'm just a
weirdo."
dude trying to help you." And
Yeah,
like that,
I
then
don't
like
know.
little kid is like, "Oh, I guess I'll slowly crawl up."
Even that takes time.
Crawl
Even that
faster.
takes
Like
yeah.
the kid made, like to the kid, he could just be like a first responder. Or like why does this man have these shooting webs? I don't know, but he's here to help me, I guess. I don't
Timmy,
know.
right now, just
Don't buy it.
close your eyes. Tell me what an EMT looks like. Do you know? You
Not
know
like
what
that.
an EMT
never
No, I
seen
got
one,
those
dude.
yellow lenses.
they wear shirts,
That's why he takes them off.
normal shirts.
Anyways, the car's
Don't they
falling.
wear
The kid's
cop-looking
crawling slow. The car finally is engulfed in flames. Car falls. Spider-Man webs him. Kid's wearing the mask. Spider-Man's like this. somehow we come back up still like this with the masks on. So you imagine there's something where it's like, Timmy, put it on my face.
Editing cuts.
Rub it on my face, Timmy.
Rub it on my face.
Why do you sound like chocolate when you said that?
Rub it on my face.
He gets up there. Who are you? I'm Spider-Man. Credits. No.
No, we're not that lucky.
Peter's first reaction after all this is to go back to Kurt Connors and be like, hey, you know shit about animals and shit. There's a fucking lizard man. What would a lizard man's weakness be? And Kurt Connors is all like, oh man, I'm not.
Why are you asking me this
I got
question?
fucking
Why do you-
scales and shit.
They don't
And-
have weaknesses.
Yeah.
They're predators.
And Peter's like, this
Yo,
is
you're weird,
this is
man.
a weird escalation for all this shit. Thank you.
You don't understand. He studied lizards, so like that's offensive to him. You know what I mean? Like that made sense.
And so, all right, cool. Kurt stomps off and leaves Peter there. And then Peter is like, all right, cool. I'll check in on the fucking mousy man. And he goes there. Mousy man's kind of a lizard mouse, and he's eating another mouse. And again, to your point.
One of the most horrifying things I've ever seen in a movie. Period. That fucking rat thing.
I thought the movie was going to change genres right there.
Yeah,
It reminded me of the rat in Witch
In The
when the
Witches.
queen becomes the rat.
It's horrifying.
Terrifying.
Don't like it. Don't like it one bit.
Bless you, Greg.
Thank you.
He didn't sneeze. He blew his nose. That's what I'm saying.
I still appreciate the effort.
Bless
you know what I
him.
mean?
All
But
right,
that's
whatever,
it.
dude.
Guess what? Kurt Connors is the lizard man. Peter does the right thing. Goes to the police. Hey, Captain Stacy, lizard man, Kurt Connors, get him in here. Stacy's like, nuh-uh, son, I ain't listening to you, you stupid idiot. And Peter's like, that's fucked up. I don't know.
Probably could have phrased it differently. I feel like if he went in there and he was like, hey, I think he's making some illegal drugs because he told me, can you go arrest him? I feel like that would have worked.
But he
better.
still would have been like, "You're the guy who wrote a letter about Gwen Stacy being amazing made me cry. Sorry, no way that guy could be a bad guy. I'm Dennis Leary,
Dennis
I'm a
Leary's so
comedian."
good. I love Dennis Leary.
And from here, Peter's like, I gotta do this. I gotta take him down. You know what I mean? And so what he does is he leaves angrily.
No,
and then he sees the Daily Bugle saying, "Hey, we get the photos." And like, that's cool. And then he's like, "Hey, there's a bunch of lizards. A lot of lizards here."
So, all right. This is where, like, this whole thing is, like, to me, where this movie fails entirely is the lizard with having lizard friends. I was watching with Gia, and we see the lizards going down into the sewer. And like, once we see Peter go down into
so
there,
cute.
and he starts to, like, set all the webs up, I was like, I think I remember this movie this scene ending with a bunch of lizards, like, rhythmically just kind of walking down this thing together. And, like, she was laughing, and I'm like, am I making this up? And then, like, 5 minutes later,
Here comes a bunch of fucking iguanas.
why are they fucking doing this?
Budweiser lizards are here and fucking
So
a party.
fucking
Like they're
weird.
going to break onto a song.
It's just like
Walking down Hawaii.
like we don't need to do the theme song, but this is some science with Kev shit. What if there's a big lizard? Why are the other lizards like, I'm gonna go there?
No, that's nonsense.
Is there any reason?
Oh, he's giving
No,
off
I get- no.
pheromones.
No,
Ass
no.
pheromones.
I don't know, man.
Lizards don't
bang
give
all those little
pheromones that
lizards.
have other lizards hang around with them.
The other lizards want to fuck him.
I don't think that.
Oh,
That's
I mean,
how it works.
the other question, and I'm ignorant, everybody. You know this about me. Where's Australia? I don't know. Are there this many lizards
Asia.
and geckos
Lizards
in
in
New
New
York?
All right,
Probably not.
Cold-blooded
Central
creatures.
Park. They got them lizards.
Do they? Okay.
They do.
All right,
Iguanas.
in Central Park, not in the sewers where they can't get any sunlight. These are cold-blooded creatures.
But
They need heat.
I
They
think
need the
that's
warmth.
what kind of shocked him. I think that's like what the whole thing of like.
Oh no, that's
what is-
definitely the thing. But
Yeah.
I'm wondering where all these lizards are coming from. But you're saying Central Park's got lizards? Okay,
There was
That
so many
many
more you didn't see.
lizards.
They're chameleons, and they were just blended in.
Yeah.
Crazy
Can't
CG
see
budget.
anything.
so
But
all
webbing,
that's happened.
The webbing thing where he made that like spiral that he was sitting on.
Yeah.
Or the thing that was
Cool
cool
idea.
too.
Cool idea.
Yeah, interesting.
totally.
use.
Sitting there playing
So
mobile
maybe we
games.
hadn't
Peter
seen
Parker
before,
being
yeah.
smart as Spider-Man.
As you said too, sitting there on a weird phone playing a mobile game. Okay, whatever. He's got his camera up there too. All right.
Not rich enough to have the Sony Xperia, but he had the
No,
Sony
no.
whatever.
I did enjoy the use of the camera where it was actually attached to webs, and it was like, oh, this is how he takes the pictures. Like, this is the first time we've seen in Spider-Man, like, it being used. But then it's immediately
he fucking
destroyed.
labeled
Yeah, they
it too.
totally
Fucking
destroyed it.
idiot.
He labels it.
Which-
Property of Peter Parker.
Remember, and I'm not shitting on this film, is literally a plot point in The Simpsons season 2 or whatever when Timmy O'Toole falls down the well and they pick it up and it says property of Bart Simpson. I'm like, that's interesting. With the same label maker.
yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, they have a fight scene though. Lizard and Peter fight here for a while, right? And Lizard can grow his nails on command and scratches into Peter's chest.
I mean, we all can do that.
Showing how skin tight the suit is. Very tight that it gets cut apart. Right? And then through hook or crook, they fall into the water. They're fighting all over there. It's scary. Lizard, or Peter tries to web down there. It doesn't work. Like, yeah, no shit,
Him
you
going
idiot.
through that pipe and I
Dude,
was like,
that
oh
was, it was
fuck.
pretty scary.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
unnecessary, honestly.
Very scary. Very scary.
But like a cool looking scene.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of speed and like
A lot of questions though, because like when he pops out, he's not like he pops out and he makes a stupid joke.
What did he say?
I forgot what he said, but it was like he just said something. No,
Cool, Greg. Can I have water?
no heavy
He
breathing
said,
at all.
Sue her. I don't even know her.
It was something like that, honestly.
I'll tell you one thing right now, though. I never really realized until watching this scene how unbelievably like how bad it would be to actually wear a mask in a fight like this. Because you'd be waterboarding. Like, you get out of that, you wouldn't be able to breathe through the mask. I'm like, I would have torn that fucking thing right off.
That
And
suit
on
doesn't
top
seem.
of that-
It doesn't seem like it breathes. The suit.
Not at all.
It doesn't breathe, and you're in fucking not toxic, but nasty ass
Yeah, it's
sewage
gray
water.
water. Gray
And then
water.
let's immediately go make out with Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
nasty, Gwen. You nasty.
Watch
But
the
she
fucking
loves him.
suit too.
Getting-
Watch the suit.
Well, yeah.
Your suit's just
He's only.
like-
I appreciate that he
You think
only
it's
has
just
the
the
one
one
suit.
suit?
I appreciate it because he wears
throughout
the
the
next
movie,
time he
it's
puts
like
it back
that.
up,
Oh,
it's
it's
still
torn
cut up.
on?
Yeah, very cool.
Also, that's
dirty.
getting infected because there's poop particles in your
Little
bloodstream.
caca.
I hate
Little
it.
caca everywhere, dude.
I'm so happy that like movies don't like have smells to them. You know,
He ain't gonna smell good.
There's a Coco scene here too, where
That was
Gwen and
another-
her
that was a
son
good
or
scene.
his dad
was
argue
great.
about the Coco. But again, Lizard saw Peter Parker. Lizard's also been upping his dosage, by the way, so he's getting bigger and angrier and crazier.
And talking to himself
Yeah, of course.
like a fucking
As you would.
idiot.
Yeah, as you would. And so yeah, we're at school now, and cool, we're at school, and bah, Lizard's there. Oh shit, he comes out of the toilet. Very scary. Everybody's nightmare.
In the lizard's outfit.
Yeah, he's wearing the Oscorp jacket.
They
'cause-
were all like ripped up and stuff. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, but he immediately takes it off.
Immediately
It's
takes it
like,
off, and then they
No,
do
it
it
gets-
again,
it gets
and then
stuck
immediately
with it.
takes it off.
yeah.
Fuck.
Anyways, this is where we were talking about earlier. Great fight scene with Peter. They fight all over the place. Stanley's there. Gwen's there. I'm going to throw you out the window now. What? Does it.
Best Stanley cameo in any movie.
Me too. Yeah, I think the same thing. I love this fucking
The Watcher
cameo.
one was
Okay,
my previous
'cause-
favorite.
oh man, I
Going
still
back,
think
this
the
one's so
Watcher one's
good.
the best one.
It's great.
I love that it's like fight scene oriented too, and it's not, I guess in the Tobey Maguire ones, it's him saving people or whatever. But
As he would.
I love like the table
better
about to
he is,
fly to
yeah.
him, and then
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
momentum of the
that
way,
cool.
like the
That's-
movement
That
of it.
looked really cool.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
awesome.
Peter leaves the lizard. He webs him up and then leaves him or whatever up there. But then he gets away. Right?
The lizard goes back down the toilet hole.
Yeah, he gets away. Great.
And then gets eaten by the
Another
deadly
one of those
rat.
weird moments where you were saying you like how much he takes his mask off. You would think that of all the places,
Yeah.
not to take your mask off, the school you go to would be one of those places.
Terrible idea.
Yeah,
And
when
he's
he was
just
coming
walking
around,
around.
Cameras, dog.
when he came around the corner, I was like, "Is this one?" I remember Captain Stacy
girls'
figuring it
bathroom?
out. I was like, "Is this it?" No, it's not it. Okay. So Lizard's crazy. We know that. Peter forgets eggs at some point in all this too. We're thundering towards the conclusion here?
Yeah, we're getting closer.
So what me
So what he
Gonna
does,
launch. Doesn't
yeah,
launch?
doesn't he call Gwen and tell her, "Hey, he's gonna go. I need you
gotta
to
go make the antidote."
break into this thing, print out the."
Yes, you're right. He
Antidote.
leaves and chases the lizard down the hole, finds Lizard's secret plans, calls Gwen and is
Hold
like,
on.
"Hey,
Thank God he
Let's
recorded that video.
Fucking
you know?
talk about this for a second, because I know that in the Spider-Man movies we give a lot of shit to the dancing in Spider-Man 3. And it's bad. It's really fucking bad. Honestly, it is the worst. It is the worst.
Yeah.
It's
but
so
the
bad.
second worst scene in any Spider-Man movie is this scene where he figures out the lizard's plans. And we walk in, it's like, okay, another fucking movie where it's just going to be this big blue thing put into the sky, or green thing in this case, and poison people. Oh, wow. We need it visualized for the dumb kids in the audience. Let's watch this fucking animation of this thing come up and then a bunch of little lizard people.
oh yeah."
Holy shit. I can't believe that made it into the movie. That's like offensively bad. That's like storyboard that they're like, we're going to fix that later. And then they just didn't fix it.
Yeah.
Hey man, you ran out of time.
It got to the end, they're like, "Fuck, you did that? No." That's
Oh, shit. Like, I gave you the idea. You should have come up with something
you were
better.
gonna change that. You thought I was gonna
like
change
that,
it? Fuck. So yeah, that's the thing. Calls Gwen. Gwen goes down to the fucking ye old Oscorp. She's gonna make the mutagen, antigen, whatever the fuck cure. Lizard starts stomping towards Oscorp. People
Takes down those
reporting on
cops,
that.
right?
Yeah, he comes out of the ground, turns the cops into it because he just starts using
Lizard
all his
people.
canisters. Just all his canisters turning lizard people. They're all turning to Koopas. Spider-Man's like, I gotta go fix this shit. Spider-Man gets on the scene, is swinging around. The cops are there. They start yelling at him. Come on, man. Get your priorities straight. Don't worry about Spider-Man. But they all worry about Spider-Man. And they finally get him on the ground. Spider-Man, they take off, or he gets zapped, falls to the ground. He's unconscious. They get there.
I liked him in slow-mo, like when it was like really dramatic. It's like, oh shit, what's about to go down? And his body like convulses.
Yeah. Keeps going. Yeah.
This was a cool shot when they have him like zip tied, right?
Yeah.
And he's just waiting for Gwen Stacy's dad to come and pull off the mask.
And he like fights everybody.
And he
with
fights
his face
everyone.
down.
Yeah, all hidden in
Very
the
cool.
shadows.
And then at the end,
then
yeah,
he loses.
Captain Stacy gets the upper hand, has his gun pulled, and Peter turns around and he's like, I gotta go save Gwen. She's there. He's like, oh no. And he's like, you gotta let me go. And he's like, oh no. And he goes. He just gets away. He goes away.
He turned into a 16-year-old woman.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
He was in shock. Andy.
And Spidey starts getting away, and then people are starting to shoot, and Captain Stacy's like, no, hold your fire. But one motherfucker doesn't, shoots right in the thigh. Great. Thanks, asshole. Now Peter's struggling left and right. He can barely climb buildings.
How's he gonna get out
He
of this?
definitely can't swing from all the buildings that are right in front of him down a straightaway to Oscorp.
No, that's too hard.
If only they were a little bit closer.
Thank God, everybody. There are 19 cranes on this street, and all the construction workers are working at 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
10
at
p.m.
night.
Yeah.
They do, because building doesn't stop, man.
Hey man,
And
it
they
really
think about
does. There are
that.
noise ordinances. You can't do
A
that.
lot of them think about not helping, but then there's one, Thomas C. Howell, who's
you
like,
mess with
this
one of us,
motherfucker
you
saved
mess
my...
with all of
Exactly.
us.
We are New York. He turns like his Andy, basically. He's like, hey, you're my Andy. Do you know, like, the guy at the other construction company, right? He's like, we're going to play a game of telephone. Everybody swing your cranes over this. And everybody's just like, this only makes it marginally easier for Spider-Man to swing, right? Like, it doesn't, then like, just fucking do it,
Well,
other Andy. And they're
Not
like,
only
"All right."
that, but thank God there were 18 cranes within a 1 block radius of each other.
Yeah, dude.
And
A lot of construction in New York.
I
An
do
American flag
appreciate
as
it
well.
because the only podcasters in San Francisco, we are aware of everyone else that podcasts in San Francisco. And so I guess if you were one of the 6 crane operators in New York,
Yeah.
you would know
Exactly.
who every single one of them
Yeah.
was at every site that was being constructed. Not to mention the fact they're all contracted by different companies, but it doesn't matter. You just know them because you guys are in the crane operators guild.
just
I mean, they could be. Well, they could be. I mean,
Radio.
yeah,
It's a
local
workforce,
150.
yeah.
But guys, maybe even with the cranes, maybe Spider-Man doesn't know what direction to go. Maybe we should call the guy with the searchlight to have the searchlight be like, hey, you're here, go there. So he knows.
This scene is so.
They should have
It's
just.
so
They should have
bad.
just had a
This is
fucking
another
UI
scene.
thing pop up.
Yeah, it was the most video game over. I would say
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
I
It's
hate
so
it.
bad.
So bad.
This
But
is
it's
another
like,
scene where it's
it
like
works for
they
me.
wrote that down and it was totally
We'll come
like,
up with something
yeah,
better.
we'll figure something out. And then it was just like, no, we got 2 weeks.
My favorite is when all the cranes are swung, and then there's like one where Spidey's not gonna make it, and the fucking Thomas C. Howell swings a giant beam across.
Got you, bro.
All right.
Got you.
And again,
Good
Spider-Man
help.
like just webbed his fucking injury. Now he's back to 100%.
Yeah, that's fine.
Dude,
yeah.
the scene though of him getting ready to go, though, I was like, oh, I'm feeling this. Let's go, baby.
Doesn't he miss? Oh, yeah, and that's when.
No, on his thing.
I by the way, I fucking hate when people get shot in movies because it always
I hate
is
it in
just
real
for
life,
that
too.
one scene, and then they're fine.
And then
when
they're
they
fine.
Fight, and
Yeah.
it doesn't come
Adrenaline
up
kicks in,
again.
doesn't
Yeah, adrenaline, you're fine.
a mother?
Have I ever met a mother?
Have you ever been a mother?
Yeah.
I've never been a mother.
Was
no.
that a
I've been with a
reference
couple
to
mothers.
something?
No, I don't know what
feel
that
like,
was.
I feel like, why would he leave was saying that? You know?
Yeah, Spidey swings on over to Oscorp. Gwen Stacy's up there. She's taking the one thing they need to make the dispersion device work.
But they had to wait 2 minutes.
That's already been cooking. I was talking about the one thing for the stupid thing the lizard needs. He, of course, can smell her because he's a lizard. Tears it open, gets the thing out, fucks off, doesn't care about her. He goes up to the roof, hooks up his thing, he installs the bad stuff. Spider-Man gets there. He's going to fight him for a while. They fight a little bit. He's in over his head. Then
He's like,
they're
"You're
fighting
alone."
there. I know he's not. I'm Captain Spacey with a shotgun. Captain Stacy, not Kevin Spacey.
But I'm so cool.
Different
I
way to fight the lizard.
I told all of my people just to stay downstairs.
Stay back.
All
I
the
got
action's
this.
up here, but I was like, don't risk your lives.
I'm gonna go take
I'll
on
go take care
this
of it.
10-foot lizard man with a shotgun.
Fucking dumb.
Just me.
Also, don't bring the helicopters anywhere near this. We don't want to risk.
But they got it
The
because they got liquid
helicopters.
nitrogen.
Yeah.
And they're blasting Lizzie with this, and they're shooting Lizzie with this. And he's like,
Lizzie
he
McGuire.
falls in a little hole. And then, he's still getting, he's all getting frozen. I'm getting frozen. And he's regenerating. And then Captain Stacy's like, look at bandana, unlimited ammo. I got this, Pete. You go take care of it. All right, cool. Pete runs up there, gets his
I can
dispersal
handle
agent.
this. Immediately gets
Stabbed in the chest by the
I
lizard.
cannot handle this.
Lizard runs up there.
This was
Pete at the last second changes it out, shoots blue shit into the air instead of green shit. It starts feeling it's healing it. All the cops are getting healed. It's healing the fucking doctor. I'm healing it. And as soon as they all tumble down, Doc's starting to come back. The Doc we know, Kurt Connors, he tries to grab Spidey, who should just be able to easily stick to the wall and not have any problem here.
Easily,
Yeah,
regardless of how hurt he is.
That's the thing. It was weird because it was very dramatic. It's like, yo, bro, just kind of go on it. And
I
it's like,
understand your web shooters
your
are
webs
broke.
are out,
Yeah.
so it's like there is a bigger risk. But like,
just turn.
But you're sticky. Your
Yeah.
hands stick. We've seen that before.
Do the feet stick too?
Yeah.
Yeah. It shouldn't though, because like there's soles on the
gotta go
bottom of
through
your
the
feet.
boot.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, but we all
That's
let that
weird.
go.
How
in
does
all
that?
these
Yeah,
movies.
I guess.
We all let it go in these movies.
I always just
checking.
assumed it was his hands sticking, just his hands, and that just with the force of it, he's keeping his feet
no, because
there.
we've seen him stand on the side of trains before.
He's
Stand
right.
on the shoulder
He's
of
right.
giants,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
That too.
So Lizzie grabs him with his bad arm and
Great
starts falling away and going away.
Which I really like.
Yep. Lizzie grabs him with his
Yeah.
good arm, pulls him back up. We save the captain. They run or Spider-Man runs over to the
What a sad
captain.
realization.
He's dying over there. And he's like, I'll get you out of here. He's like, no, you won't,
Promise
Pete.
me.
Yeah, promise me you'll never fucking talk to Gwen again. And Pete's like, I don't want it. And he's like, promise me. And I'm like, all right.
I'd
This
have
is
been like,
stupid.
no.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, but
He
I'm
kinda
dying.
does,
Like,
though.
No,
I would've been like,
you would have for sure lied to
okay.
a dying man. You
Oh,
would have
yeah,
immediately
but
been
I
like,
don't think-
oh man, 100%. We actually broke up last week.
well, like, what were you? You're gonna ask like a 16-year-old boy to stay away from? Like, come on, bro. Come on.
He does
He
it though,
tries
and
his
he
best,
says
though.
yes. Okay, great. And then we're cut away. It's Captain Stacy's funeral. Everybody's
it's
coming
a
out
Spider-Man
super
movie.
sad. Of course, more funerals. Everybody's coming out super sad. Pete is just in his suit. Spider-Man ended up on top of the church, and Gwen feels it and looks up there, but he looks away and like, oh no, he didn't come.
Dumb.
And then Gwen comes to the house and is like confronts Pete
I love this scene.
Yeah.
I love her emotion. She was
Bold.
great.
and is just like, yeah, like what the fuck, man? Everybody was there. All these shitty people, Flash, who we hate was there. We don't really hate, but we hate him, kind of.
Yeah, like he took it so literally. Stay away from my daughter just means like don't date my daughter. You can still come to my fucking funeral and like be there.
Maybe he didn't mean it that way.
For
you know?
her.
We can't interpret his words.
I just
Or you
hate
could just
when
at this scene, you could just tell her.
Hey, your
I'm
dad-
happy she figured it out.
Yeah.
wants me to stay away.
My bad.
Jesus Christ.
I burped.
I'm
That
happy
was
she
strong.
figured it out
My bad.
at the end, or not at the end, because if they left this movie with like she
Oh
doesn't,
no,
she
I
doesn't
love
know
that.
why.
That's the thing about it, where I'm like, oh, this is a painful scene, and I love it when she starts to walk away, and she's like, he made you promise, didn't he? She puts it together. She's smart now.
which is good.
Jesus,
I
you're
still
a mess.
even
Goddamn, that's good.
even there, I would have been like, if I'm her, like, cool,
exhausted.
he's dead. I get to make my own life. You don't get to. You make your own life. We're not gonna worry about what fucking Dennis Leary.
He was
said.
also right, but we'll talk about that later.
Nah,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
who's gonna-
I mean, he was 100% right.
Yeah, he should've
Hey,
stayed away.
don't put my daughter in danger because you're an idiot. And like, literally, moments earlier, she was gonna run up with the vial to give it to him, and he was like, "No, don't do that. Give me the vial. I'll
Hey
run
man,
up with
just
it."
like
And
Spider-Man
that's why he
2,
died.
and Mary Jane's in her little her wedding dress, and she's just like, I make my own choices, and Gwen makes her own choices. All right. Anyways, yeah, we jump back to school. They're ignoring each other. Flash is there. He's hugging Pete. Nice shirt. He's cool, man. All the chicks love Spider-Man. This is an unlicensed shirt.
Bottle of Red Bubble.
They go to school. Peter and Gwen are at the exact same point in the hallway. Gwen gets into class, no problem. Pete late for some reason, because again, you know, yeah, there it is.
That picture of you so great on my desk.
Tim, join us. Join us, Tim.
I just really can't.
Peter, leave it alone.
This is really bad.
It's chafing.
Peter, I can
Stop.
smell the blood.
Stop, smell it. You can smell the blood.
Oh,
He fucking masturbated into a
We
fan
also
or something?
we skipped the thing earlier of to Aunt May and like the eggs and coming home, and that's when I think she puts it
when she
together.
gets it.
Your face is all fucked up. I just saw Spider-Man fight a lizard on TV. I got it. Yeah, but anyway, Peter's late to class. You're always late to class. It won't happen again. I promise.
This is high school
Blah,
still,
blah,
right?
blah.
He's like, don't
Yeah.
make promises you can't keep.
And he's like, but those are the most fun. And Gwen
Little smile.
smiles. And it's like, man, you put her through a lot of emotional turmoil
Yeah.
just to take it back. We
Yeah.
skipped two, by the way. I think I really do like the Uncle Ben voicemail.
Oh, yeah.
That he listens to. I'm sorry. That kind of gives him the push to go unfuck this.
Good
elusive
voicemail,
man.
but also who
Really,
leaves
who
that
does that?
elaborate and
Peter,
poetic of a
I know
voicemail?
you've missed picking up your aunt, and it's because then I'm gonna be furious when you come home.
And
Like, I'll tell you what
you're
I got.
my hero.
I-
It's like,
I-
wow, that's really...
When my
what
dad,
you need
who
to
I
hear, man.
love to death and is very well spoken, leaves messages on my phone, it's usually
Call me back.
Nick. Hello? Yeah. Okay, it's your father. Call me back.
What'd I call you?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I get. This guy gets fucking poetry. He gets Wordsworth, for Christ's sake.
He's a good
It
writer,
was in the
man.
middle of the fight too, so he was trying to have a poignant moment after calling him
Christ.
fucking 10 times.
Dying over here.
It's a good thing he wasn't mad, you know? If the message wasn't like, "Don't come back home."
Man, you're a little
You
shit.
forgot your
You'll
fucking
never be a
eggs.
hero.
You know, we didn't want to tell you this, but we're not even your biological aunt and uncle. You were adopted.
If I get shot soon, I'm not gonna miss you.
Yeah, you motherfucker. If I die because of you, I'll never forgive you.
Credits, and then the mid-credits roll is the lizard scene in
So
his cell
bad.
with the gentleman. Is that what you
The
call him?
gentleman, yeah.
Gentleman
Coming in,
call.
do you know this? And he just disappears. Comes
Easily
Which is
one of the worst post-credit scenes
yeah.
I've ever.
Of all time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
bad for multiple reasons. One, it doesn't make any fucking sense, period. Lightning strikes, and then there's this dude, and
He can
he's
teleport,
gone.
man.
Really fucking bad. And on top of that, it's really shitty when you do a post-credit sting of like introducing an element that nobody gets.
Yeah.
I guarantee there wasn't a single person, and I fucking challenge you for this. There wasn't a single person that was like, oh, it's the gentleman. Nobody. No. Thanos at the end of Avengers, there's a handful of
Yeah.
people. There's many handfuls of people, right? This shit, nah, dude. No one knows.
Yeah. At the end of Black Panther, it's like, oh, it's Bucky.
Yeah.
Right? Like we all knew.
I know
We
that
all
face.
knew.
And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stay. Oh, Spider-Man's beating me up. I'm Chad Kroger.
Can Spider-Man teleport in this
So
movie?
good.
Because there's the scene where he's suddenly in the car while it's getting robbed,
He's very fast.
and
He's
then
just fast, man.
Just fast, bro.
immediately after, he's just outside the car.
Nimble.
He's
Like the
fast,
dude
man.
opens the door and gets out of the car. I don't know, man.
Oh,
Spiders are
funny.
fast,
I like
dude.
that
Yeah.
scene.
That's what
That
Spider-Man.
scene, he's like, oh yeah, climb out the window. Yeah, go do that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny, man. Andrew
Yeah.
Garfield's he's got the
great.
wit.
He's
Yeah.
got it,
I
man.
love it.
He's got the juice.
He's got
Now
the
it's time
juice.
for it, Andy.
Down.
Ragu.
Down.
Ragu.
A lot of people have mentioned real quick on the subreddit set
Yeah,
that Nick has not been invited in the group, but is still required to do the theme song.
yeah, it's degrading. Yeah.
But everyone knows Nick hungers for the spotlight. You know what I mean?
No,
He'll
but
do
like,
it.
I'm thinking that maybe by the next season you'll let me be in the group if
Don't
I
do
keep
it.
doing the
Don't do
stupid
it.
theme song.
And you know what? No one's going to talk about Volume 3 yet.
Yeah.
Because right now, this is Ragu Bagu Vids Volume 2. If you didn't know, this is Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys each and every week. We're a podcast within the podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Andy Cortez
Hey, what's up, internet?
and Kevin Coelho.
Hello.
We rank all the bad guys in the Spider-Verse here as we go. If you want to run our Twitter account, twitter.com/ragubaguvids, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunny, and for a cool $69, tweet whatever you want as long as Joey approves it. Currently, the standings are this: Doc Conn at number 1, number 2, Norman Osborn /Gobby, number 3, Venom, New Goblin, Sandman. Where do you want to put the lizard, Dr. Kurt Connors, Andy Cortez?
The number 2 spot?
Either 2 or 3.
I think the number 2 spot, just because.
My argument would be I would have tried to put him at number 4.
Y'all are crazy.
But I'll
That's dead last?
I'll give you 3 if you
Oh
want.
my god.
Below Harry?
Yeah, Venom, New Goblin,
No.
Sandman. I would put this guy below it. I didn't like
Jesus.
Kurt Connors.
No.
I didn't like
Come
Kurt
on.
Connors. I didn't like the Lizard.
No, but like Venom /New
Hey,
Goblin /Sandman
we got some
should be
chuckles out of
last.
Venom, didn't we?
Man.
We had some chuckles
What?
out of the
Where would you
Sandman,
put it?
didn't
As
we?
a commenter on this show, I am an angry commenter on YouTube, and I'm saying y'all
You're one of
motherfuckers
those.
are crazy because this is debatably number 1. I'd give it to
no.
Doc Ock
Yeah,
over
yeah.
it
Yeah,
because Doc
definitely
Ock
Doc
is
Ock.
more like both as a just
But you-
normal dude and
All
a
right,
bad
so
guy
you're
works
kind of
better.
agreeing with me
Number 2.
wholeheartedly.
It's number
Yeah.
2. There's no way that
Here's
he's
the
worse
problem,
than
though.
Green
No
Goblin.
one has ever agreed with you on
Well, yeah,
Ragu
we
Baggy
actually-
Vids about Norman
That's not
Osborn or
true.
Gobby.
We like Gobby.
I like Norman Gosborn.
Gosborn.
I like that. I'm going to change it to Norman Gosborn. Andy, where do you want to put him?
I'd put him at number 2.
Really?
Yeah, let's
You're
do
putting
that.
you
Let's do
you
that.
got swayed by the arguments.
Yeah, let's do that.
That happens sometimes, bro. That's 2 out of 3 votes.
Yeah, I know. I don't worry about
Speaking
it.
of villains, this is a random thing I forgot to say earlier. But in the final scene where he like shoots himself through the crane, and
Yeah.
he's like going through. He's in like an alleyway going. There's like a bunch of like clothes hangers. You see the Shocker's pants.
Oh, really?
That was one of them.
That's neat. Ragu Bagu Vids then has a new ranking. Number 1, Dr. Octopus. Number 2, Lizzie. Number 3, Norman Gosborn. Number 4, Venom, Goblin, Sandman.
Cool. Fantastic.
Now it's time to rank the Spider-Man movies. Our current rankings are as follows. Number 1, Spider-Man 2. Number 2, Spider-Man. And number 6, Spider-Man 3.
We hate Spider-Man.
Oh,
three.
it's a bad
We
movie.
hate Spider-Man.
It's
three.
It's a
that
bad
bad.
movie.
Where do we think Amazing Spider-Man ranks?
Controversial, I would imagine, but I would say number 3.
Number 3. Ooh.
Wow.
I
Controversial for sure.
Yeah.
I know that I've seen the subreddit. I've seen the YouTube comments. I understand that everybody
you're
understands.
siding with the
I'm
people.
one of the few people that enjoy the Raimi first 2 movies.
I enjoyed it, but I feel like Spider-Man 1 was so bad. Like, looking back at it, I do
okay,
not
go on.
like this movie. I think that this is not a good movie. It has a lot of weak points. But I really also don't like the Sam Raimi movies. This is very tricky.
I know this show struggles because we are contemporary people living. We've seen things and we
We are
understand
currently
things.
living in the future.
I did not enjoy Amazing Spider-Man. I didn't dislike it. I didn't hate it. It's not Spider-Man 3. But again, this is a forgettable movie. Whereas I still think Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, sure they have lows, but I
think
thought
they're
they had
memorable
highs.
for really bad reasons, though.
Yeah.
Like,
remember he's like 35, pretending to be 18.
Again, I understand that, but that's how movies were made.
All of
I
them
get
were
that.
35.
My thing is, so far
Although
I've
he was
enjoyed
29 when he made this
all of
movie,
these
too.
movies, including Spider-Man 3. I thought it was very enjoyable. It's a horrible movie, but it's enjoyable.
For the wrong reasons.
I would put this as number 1 because,
Wow.
like I said earlier,
Wow.
it has a lot of elements that are really great.
Sure.
It doesn't add up perfectly. This is not a great movie,
Yeah.
but I still think it's better than 2. What?
Real quick, Kevin, how can he say it's going to be number 1 and you're like, wow. And I'm like, it'll be number 3 and you're like, wow. Where? So unless someone says number 2, you're like,
Kevin's clearly in the number 2 camp. Right?
number 2. I'm like,
wow,
number
this
2.
is blowing us.
There's
spots
a
at the
big
end.
drop
both
there.
of you guys.
There's a big drop between
Like, I
Spider-Man
can't
2
believe
and
that
1.
like you're putting this above Spider-Man 2 just because I feel like Doc Ock is like a character that we can get around, like get
See,
behind.
I think that it didn't hold up as well rewatching it, where it's like I remember him being this like, oh my god, he has so much depth.
and
He
this movie
doesn't.
just did not hold up.
But this
love
movie to
watching
me,
it for me.
to me, Spider-Man is all about Peter Parker and Spider-Man being Spider-Man, and Andrew Garfield nails it. I think that they gave Gwen Stacy an awesome character. Emma Stone's awesome, and I thought Dennis Leary was great. I feel like there's so much great moments here.
I
I'm
agree.
like, that alone, I'm like,
See, I agree
works.
with you. I think you nailed it in the beginning of this, where you were just like, there's a lot of great stuff here, but it just doesn't add up. Where I feel like the stuff that hits and the stuff that misses, sure, in Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 it's all all over the map, and especially now, however many years later, 20 years later, it's different. But I still enjoyed those movies more. Those felt more like Spider-Man to me than this movie.
and
did.
I can stand with you in that I enjoyed the other movies more than I enjoyed this. I think this took itself way too seriously, and I
Way
think that
too
it
seriously.
went on a bunch of weird paths, and especially the things they set up that we know end up not being fulfilled. It's really disappointing, but I still think I enjoyed moments in this movie and like dynamics way more than the other movies. I don't think that it's number 1 by a long shot, but I do think
So
that
you enjoyed the moments more, but you say what?
I enjoyed the Spider-Man moment. There are better Spider-Man moments in this movie than we see in the other ones, and I think the other ones might be more consistent movies, but they're not good. So
I guess it's just that for Spider-Man 1 and 2, like I like the Spider-Man origin more in 1. J. Jonah Jameson, every one of them. I like the Spider-Man more in those movies. I like the villains.
you like the Spider-Man more?
Yeah, I like.
For what reason?
hate Tobey Maguire
Because like
so
in
much.
this one he actually is Spider-Man with the quips and the
Yeah,
stuff.
making the comments.
Well, we talked about him being a darker Spider-Man too, though. I mean, it's not like.
Suit wise, you're talking about.
No, we were talking about
it's
earlier.
tonally.
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
We were talking about him being mean and all these things, right? Like,
at first, and then before he becomes like when he's just a vigilante.
even this one, I
running
don't think. I don't
He
think
literally
nails.
murders a dude in the first one.
Nah, but that guy
He
stumbles
murders a couple
backwards. That
guys
guy
in
stumbles
those first three
his- No,
backwards.
hey, that's murder though. Still,
Yeah.
if somebody stumbles back, Nick, we will still be like, that's his murderer.
Yeah.
I enjoy Doc Ock more than Connors.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
it's cool, Greg. We'll let that shit
But
slide.
I prefer Tobey Maguire, or I prefer Andrew Garfield way more. Like, leagues
So you're in the
more.
camp
that
than
it's
number
Tobey.
one as well.
Miles.
I'd have to go, but again, I'm kind of with Tim where I don't think it's that much better than part 2, but I enjoy the Peter and Spider-Man moments more than I did in any of the other movies.
See, it's interesting because I think that I remember some of the bigger set pieces in the first 3 movies, and so I think that I might give the slight nod to that. But the characters in Amazing Spider-Man are so much more real, and the dynamics are so much better, and not just flat and one dimensional like they are in the other ones. That made like I really liked all of the non-Spider-Man moments in Amazing Spider-Man. I liked all the talk between him and Aunt May and Uncle Ben, all that stuff. I'm like, oh, I would actually just watch this movie if this was just about a kid who lost his parents and had to live with these 2 nice people who are all just figuring out how to make it work out. But yeah, I just don't remember any of the big set pieces. I don't remember really the action in Amazing Spider-Man that much. It was just kind of blah.
I feel like for me personally, with
we didn't have a cool fight up the fucking like down the building as they were walking up and down, you know, with Doc Ock and Spider-Man.
I feel like
by an umbrella.
I like
bad
Sally
scenes.
Fields and I like Martin Sheen, but like I don't feel like
we changed my vote.
I'm going to remember them as like anything special.
No.
Like I don't. That's the thing is I feel like it's what we're talking about. Like I love Emma Stone and I love Andrew Goldfarb, and it's just like they're great people, but even then it's just like okay, cool. Like I know these scenes and these moments or whatever, but
I think that Emma Stone is such a good embodiment of that character where it's like it gave her character.
I agree
like
with that.
otherwise we hadn't seen that before. And I do think she's a really strong character. This is interesting. Make me think a lot.
It's hard.
I just think about
we're talking about a lot of movies.
What Andy just said right now reminded me. I totally forgot that Aunt May hanging on the side, and like that
so
might
bad.
make it move down in my mind.
And that's true. I do
honest
start
here.
thinking about that character.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, that character was so bad. The Ben character was so bad. The
Peter.
Harry character was so bad.
So bad.
Every interaction with him and Kirsten Dunst was so bad. Like all
They
of
were
the Spider-Man
Schumacher
stuff-
level.
God, they were
Oh,
so
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
in 3, sure.
No, dude, even in 1, I got so many Schumacher vibes
First
of like
off,
the
Schumacher
action.
did fucking The Lost Boys. So why don't you bite your tongue, sir?
I'm talking about Batman
dare
and
you?
Robin.
How dare
Fair point. Fair point.
Like I said earlier,
This movie
about
is-
action scenes. I think the school fight scene with Lizard is one of the best scenes we've seen in these movies.
That's fair.
Fight scenes wise.
I
don't know what else would stand out.
This
to it.
movie was
The
worse
Doc
to
Ock
me.
one.
fight.
It was
when they're
worse
on
to
the
you?
wall. That was really good.
I remember this movie being a lot better. I remember at the
too.
time watching it thinking like, fine. I guess I'd focused so much on Andrew Goldfarb being a better Peter than Toby that I was so just enamored with that. And watching it this time around, I was like, this movie is a lot worse than I remembered. But I think it's better than Part 2.
Time to vote. Who thinks it's better than Spider-Man 1? Who thinks it's better
Everybody
than
but
Spider-Man
Greg
2?
raised their hand. Everybody raised their hand.
The new
Except
ranking
Greg.
of the Spider-Man movies. Number 1, The Amazing Spider-Man. Number 2, Spider-Man 2. Number 3, Spider-Man. And number 4. No, number 7. 6. It's the first time I fucked this up. 6, Spider-Man 3.
Wow. I'm really shocked about this.
Join us next week when we review The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Let's go, Jamie Foxx.
We'll see about
wait.
that.
It's not gonna rank high.
Can't wait.
Until next time.
Swing by next week.